Are we?
You're doing it live.
Let us know when you're ready.
You're doing it.
There's no rush.
Yo, you're doing it live.
Not like we got like 5 minutes last week or anything like that, right?
Katina man.
Katina man, he's wondering what's going on over there.
Yeah, I heard that. He's funny, man. The high reach. Have to hit.
All right, guys.
Oh, our boy, our Obi. I don't know if Obi was listening, but remember how we were talking? We're like, yeah, he hasn't cut his hair in a while. Well, he cut it last week.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because his hair was growing there.
Well, man, to him, man, he's been grinding on Blue Ocean.
Good, man. Good.
Yeah,
That's
he's been
fantastic.
up, like-
Neil was looking at some of the biggest moves from last week, and one of them was on Blue Ocean.
Did you see? Did you see? Someone made 230K
on TSX.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even want to talk about this on camera, but your boy Wainers and Mateo were talking about that at the Jays game. There's something's going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right, guys. The boys are ready. The big boys, that is. I want to mention that NUAI is at the high of the day. We're still holding it to 88, so watch for this one into the $0.25. But Joey and I, we're going to be back. Same bat time, same bat channel. See y'all tomorrow, man. Enjoy. Peace.
Stuff, baby.
All right, great. Thank you guys as we still continue the hunt for the mystery remote here. So I'm going to wait. There's Fabian in the background. We're going to have a nice little lesson coming up for you, and it's going to be on scanners. So get ready for all of that. Neil will take you into that as soon as we get the thumbs up. Maybe I'll put this back in my ear so I can actually get some sort of a thumbs up there. We had a good time, man. We went to the gym in the afternoon, and I'm just going to actually load up the chat to say what's up to absolutely everybody who's joining us again. It's 2 p.m. The market just continues to want to go one way, it looks like. We tried to short Palantir. Palantir is up 4% right now. We went long there. We tried to short there, and someone asked, how could you short something or have a trade when you go out to the gym? And I don't put on very many shares, right when if I'm not going to be here. So we shorted it at VWAP. We gave it to the 200 period moving average. And then boom goes Palantir. So that's a nice little downside move that didn't last for too long. We went all the way to 156 there, and now Palantir starting to get a little bit higher. I'm going to pop up the chat right now, and why not go through a little bit of roll call. Let's just say hi to who's here. Yo, we've got Dane Generous coming out here. We got Boosted Red Sport. Okay. You know, it was a good movie when I was younger, Bloodsport. You guys ever watch Bloodsport there? That was a very, very sick movie. Yo, what's up, Ozan? We can't say what's up with Ozan without blowing up some money on a cow over there. What's up? Lettuce Go TV is here. Capote One is there as well. Green Saber is in the building. Yadira Oliveras, we want to say hi to you as well. Jesse Martinez. Oh my God, there's a lot of people here. All right, AMC. Britt says Ape, AMC, and Diamonds. This was reminding me of 5 or 6 years ago when we had some AMC action. Look what AMC's actually doing here today, man. $2 and change. 80 million shares finally starting to go through on AMC. The volume is back on this one. And yeah, this has actually been quite a nice runner over here for the theaters. I mean, we talked about Obsession is out, I guess, this weekend. And there's another movie called Back Room, I think, there. And then we also had the Star Wars movie out as well. That's starting to go. And yeah, summer blockbusters. This is supposed to be a pretty decent year for the movies, that is for sure. Now, where did I even put that chat? It has now gone missing. There it is right here. So we say what's up to everybody that's here again. What's up, fellas? What's up, Manny Fresh? MF Dane Generous is here as well. We've got a couple goats or bulls right there from Johnny TC. Wall Street Bets. Yeah, Back Rooms, I think it's called. Let's Go, says Roger. Big 40 Nephew. Big 40 Print Fest today. Yeah, it's been a good one, depending on what you've been doing, but I think the longs still continue to be strong. How about NVIDIA? Yeah, let's get IBM. You guys know we just bought some IBM. Yo, what's up, T-Money? Hope you're doing well as well. Meta's on the back, on the back as well. Meta's getting ready to go. Manny Fresh. What's up, Manny Fresh? Hopefully you're doing good there. That's a little bit of a run through on roll call as we're just waiting to get all set up in the back, and when we are, then we will be good to go. So apparently we are getting better and better right now. But that's AMC, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again here today. So look, everybody, most traders, we always talk about preparation, and what we're looking for is preparation today via scanners. But what exactly are you scanning for? I mean, every single day you call up a scanner, whether or not it's on E-Trade, it could be on whatever broker you're using. They'll have a scanner for you, but it's going to show you like 100 symbols, 200 symbols. What exactly are you looking for? Often traders can be paralyzed sitting there looking for something to do. Neil, right here behind me, is going to go over some key aspects to how we can narrow down that scanner list to give you the trades you're looking for. Let's throw it back to Neil.
You got to think about how to get rid of market noise. You're going to have hundreds of alerts, up to 200 raw alerts, things that are gapping, things that are moving in the morning. And what you're trying to do is narrow it down to a few true opportunities or symbols that you're willing to trade, that are important. And it's all about how you can do that in a quick fashion with tools that should be readily available to you on any broker. Now, the first one, it's a no-brainer. And any trader will tell you this, it's going to be RVOL. You don't just want a stock to be moving in the pre-market or have a story. You can have earnings, or you could have a new press release about a new drug that just came out. But if it's doing the same volume it did the day before, the week before, that's not a big deal. RVOL is going to take a 20-day rolling average usually and then tell you what number it is doing relative to that. So if it normally does 1 million shares and it's sitting at 1.5, you'll have RVOL of 1.5. Now what you want to do is set that to something like 2, so that you know when something shows up on your scanner as the gapper, you're not thinking about raw volume. You want relative volume. Relative volume means it will move more than normal. Relative volume means it'll be extra liquidity for you to be able to express your trades. An incredibly important thing to pay attention to. And the second thing you want to look at, it's a couple. Price and ATR, and that's average true range. Now the price is important because for most trader strategies, you might have a certain account size that you've got to be able to control. If a stock is $1,000, maybe it doesn't fit within your parameters to be able to trade it. So oftentimes you want to make sure, and maybe it might be $5 to $100. It's just whatever works for you. There's no point having a bunch of names out there if, let's say, you can't trade penny stocks with your broker, or you can't really effectively trade anything over $300. There's no point it being in your scanner. So that's a simple thing you should throw out there. And then ATR, you want the average true range. Now, at the end of the day, you want something to be able to move enough. So if you set that to at least 0.5, I think you're going to make sure that you're in things that are going to give you enough opportunity to go so that you can get a large enough opportunity to win on the trade. It's not just enough that it's doing volume. It needs to be moving as well. Now, when you've done these things, you're then going to be able to whittle your list down from hundreds of symbols to less than 10. And once you've got it in single digits, or maybe just a little bit more than that, you move on to the structure. Because you can have any kind of gap this far, ATR good, RVOL looking fantastic, maybe it's got a news catalyst, all these things that are right. You still have to pull up some charts and find things that give you structure. Maybe it's breaking out of a downtrend. Maybe it's got an obvious resistance level that it's breaking out above. Maybe it's coming into a gigantic support level. You can't do that over 100 symbols. You're just not going to be able to do it. What you can do is go over the chart and go over those types of metrics and ideas on a few symbols. And that's why you whittle it down, so you can get down to the nitty-gritty of finding the best opportunity. So the first thing that happens is you want to make sure, run your scan filters, run those 3 settings that we talked about. Those are the most important. Well, from there, you've got to build your list. You want to whittle it down to single digits, 3 to 5 tickers. A lot of times you might have a few more than that by the time you get down to the charting, and then you whittle it to the best ones, your 3 to 5. Then you find some kind of a driver. You want to make sure news, earnings, if something that came up on your scanner is purely technical, well, it's not a bad idea to see if it has news on it. Does the news confirm the move, or is it against the move? You want to be in the know of something fundamental that could be going on in the stock. And then, of course, map your levels. It's important that it actually has technical reasons that you want to trade it. That's a great tiebreaker. I'd much rather be trading something which is gapping into a new range with a big breakout or breaking a trend than something which might be moving, but it's inside the same range it's been in forever. So you map those levels out there, add it to that final watch list, and this is how you can whittle down from hundreds of opportunities to just a few so you can narrow in on the best trades.
There we go. Thanks, Neil. That is how professionals whittle down your scanner so you can find the highest quality trades. Hopefully tomorrow you'll be in those positions that you want, not just what the scanner gives you. Get it down to those key aspects, and you too will have a professional scanner. So thanks, Neil, for all that. And I think that's important. Like, that's how we break down our sticky note. That's why we write our posts. That's how we have different ideas every single day, right? And it does start with figuring out what exactly, people are asking what was ATR there, average true range, of course, as I think you mentioned there as well. So, yeah, I think you probably did. Okay. So thanks, Neil, for all that. And, that's kind of stuff that we do. And, even on here, just a simple hot list like by eSignal will give you many different, and that's why we said, you got to whittle it down yourself, but some opportunities here for different programs above VWAP. They have just some things that are already filtered in here. Volume rate, we talked about that. Unusual volume. If you're looking for gaps, that could also be something on the weekly. If you're more of maybe a swing trader, you want to look at weekly percent gainers, weekly percent losers, and whatnot to get going there. So yeah, lots of different things happening. I like to set mine, if you're on the eSignal platform, I like to set the hot list to trade rate. That way you'll be able to see which names are actually blasting off here at a faster pace than normal. Wow, NVIDIA up 6% today. Talk about something that's really got us excited over there. Oracle, wow, that's 10 points on Oracle today. Wow. 10% to the high side. Microsoft up 2.5 as well. What's going on with Amazon there, Bezos? That's down 3%. Maybe we'll get a story there. We did indicate, we had written down, again, on our list that we liked Intel for a short today, so that's down 4%. And again, part of that comes with our early morning scanners, right? We scanned, we saw that Intel was down. We know the reasons why. We saw the NVIDIA presentation, didn't mention NVIDIA, or didn't mention Intel. You know what it did talk about was ARM. And you can see today, ARM extending its move up 15% right now. It was higher, man. It got to that magical 420 level. There for ARM. Please enjoy at your own discretion. And wow, even Nokia up another, some of these names that just keep on going. There's Space, the Final Frontier was up another 27% today as well. And of course, that's going to be Virgin Galactic, not the heralded SpaceX that should be coming. Is June 12th even official yet? I mean, I know it's coming out soon, so we'll official updates. Yeah, we'll get some official updates on that. We just want to wait for pricing, right? As soon as that comes out, then we know it's the very next day. And the most recent pricing, I think it was 1.75 trillion was the most recent market cap. So if it's 1.75 now, it'll probably open up that day at, I'm going to say 3 trillion probably valuation that day. And Joe is buying it at that valuation, holding it.
No, he's not.
Forever.
What?
He's buying a little bit. I talked about it earlier. I don't mind that idea.
In like 10%.
Yeah.
And then buy 20% later. And
I mean, I just don't know where it's going to go. I mean, we've seen so many days where
they're changing so many rules.
And then we had Steve Talman. Remember, we asked him, and he was like, "You don't want to buy an IPO until multiple years later." I don't know. I think we can always look back. We can have some examples where we can look back at Tesla. Maybe we'll do that later on. Robinhood. A name like Palantir opened at 11, went to 7. I think.
But if we're being real here, they're forcing this one into all of our portfolios.
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, they're forcing this thing as rapidly as they can into the S&P 500, get it into the indexes, so all the passive funds are going to be buying it, and then that's going to be the exit liquidity. This is not normally how IPOs go. So understand, if you're one of those core position in the S&P, this is a big weight that's going to be thrown in there, and everyone's going to be just buying, tracking it. This is where they're getting all the extra buy liquidity. That's not how normally things have gone. And whether you like it or not, this seems like what's happening with SpaceX. And to me, that just sort of means everyone's going to be nibbled in if you own the S&P. You'll be buying the first month.
And NASDAQ. And
the same thing with the NASDAQ.
Plus what they might do with Tesla. So if you have Tesla shares, they might all get wrapped up into one.
I can live with that more if they merge it than sort of this force it into the index.
Yeah, but it's just if you own Tesla shares, you're basically going to be, those will probably get, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but depleted a little bit because you're going to all of a sudden have to have an aspect of SpaceX in there, and it's going to change.
I just think that goes more with the spirit of what's supposed to happen in the capital markets than what goes with the spot. Like, you like it, you own Tesla stock, fair enough. It's a one simple risk, but not in the S&P that quickly. But again, that's just opinions. You know what else is interesting in terms of updates? Not just SpaceX. Come on, you also got updates out of Origenics, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. The company's activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orgenex has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. And you were saying what was going on with Amazon.
Yeah, I was
You know, I
wondering about
didn't
that
look
one.
at that. I didn't really look at Amazon this morning. Again, you're whittling things down on your watch list. It was not something that was involved positively with the NVIDIA story and Jensen overnight. And I suppose if you're not involved with that, that's enough reason for you to go down, I guess, because I'm looking at the level that it bounced off of, this 261. You better not lose that, because that was big support the last couple of weeks. For now, it looks like we're bouncing off of it. But the only thing, look, the only order I have right now is to look for a continuation short in Bitcoin. Obviously, we've seen a lot of weakness out of IBIT. You know, Bitcoin's sitting at 71.5. Couldn't hold the 75 level. The daily chart looks like a short. You look at what's going on with the NASDAQ up top pulling back. Well, if the NASDAQ's at the highs pulling back and you're at VWAP pulling back, that means you're relatively weak. So I want to short this one at VWAP. Just give it above, just barely above the volume weighted average price for now. Just looking to get picked up in front of VWAP for a continuation short there. And obviously, we have another day where, I don't know, the dip buyers in this market, spectacular. You know, when it looks like it's going to be a reversal kind of day, this NASDAQ pulled right into Friday's lows. I mean, right into Friday's lows and said, no, we don't care. We don't care, we're going higher. And that's in the face of USO ripping faces off in the pre-market. Just absolutely ripping faces off in the pre-market. Now things are looking a little bit more calm with oil prices, so looking good to go. But I still favor a short IBIT, maybe Intel actually. That's the other one that was, like, it got into VWAP. It finally filled in the gap to 113 or close enough to it. Now losing the volume weighted average price. This feels like it could be a continuation short this afternoon. And lots of small cappers I see being put in the chat.
You talked about buyers not stopping. I mean, they flushed Virgin Galactic here early. We tried it at 7, got out there once it broke, and now it's at 8 again. So there it goes, man. I mean, they're just not letting these names go. And yeah, another successful day, another successful launch for Virgin Galactic today in the stock market, up to $8. So we want to say what's up to that. Rivian Randy was talking on the midday show all about this name, and I don't know anybody that bought the dip, but it's been a nice dip there into 13. Now it's up to 17. Again, there goes Rivian. So yeah, man, it's been dead money for a very long time, and we'll just wait to see. Like, at some point, stocks go, right? We saw what Ford's been doing. Ford's been an absolute rocket ship to the upside as well. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening there with Ford. I made more money on Ford than Rivian, so we're happy with it. But let's just wait to see what winds up happening. I think we're still long around $11 here on Rivian, but a small piece of the pie in the account, just kind of play money there. But look where it comes down into, right? It lands right into the lap there of $13 again. Goes Rivian. So that was a really nice sort of look there for any traders that were still on that look. And that, of course, is Rivian, waiting to see what winds up happening here now as we get back through 18, June 9th. I already got the emails. That's why it was June 9th deliveries there in the United States. And then we'll see what that means for Canadian orders. And up to $17 right now goes Rivian. You know, that's the tail there. You know, Tesla's going to be under pressure. We talked about that June 11th date where hopefully pricing goes out for SpaceX, and then we'll see if Tesla reacts positively or not to that. Tesla falling back in just a little bit here. And we all know that this is obviously a car company with tons of cars sold, but you know, they're not going to be releasing any new models or anything. They still got to get that Cybercab, you know, on, and once that's rocking around, I think that could be the next sort of level there for Tesla to get going one more time. But they're down 4% here today, and to our surprise, to my surprise for sure, I want to get out of this name, so not too much higher, and I think we could dump some Uber on the market, but that's up 5.5% today as I'm worried about Waymo. I am worried about Cybertrucks, the Cybercabs as well, robotaxis, as those start coming through from Tesla. So it's all kind of in the same ecosystem right there. But hey, maybe, once again, there's been a bottom found and formed here in Uber. Like, we've already touched down near the $70 mark 3 times, so once, twice, thrice, and here we go right back up to the upside again for Uber. So we'll see if that can get going. Would love to get some out north of $80, you know, even for a loss on this name. I'm fine doing that. So if that comes through, we'll try it on, I was gonna say Saint Ubers, but a lot of people in the chat may not know about that Canadian.
There's never been any in the States.
Like Swiss Chalet, that's not an American thing either. So,
I always used to think St. Hubert's had the better sauce than Swiss.
yeah, they have a good sauce. They
Legit sauce.
have better fries.
I'm curious what the record for individual halts on a single stock.
It's not there. I know what you're getting at. I mean, Jay-Z today. I mean, it might be. How many times has it halted?
I'm gonna eyeball it. All right, I'm not counting these, but let's just 24, maybe more. This is just a halt scanner here, Pete Pro. Maybe more, 30.
Can we sort it by? No, we can't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not like it shows you the halts in real time, but like there's not really a good scan here. But there's still an hour and a half left. What is going on with this thing?
4, 25, 26, 27.
At some level, don't you think that like the whole system is broken a bit if it can do 40 million shares but can't stay open? Like there should be some way that you can just allow it to trade. Because what's the point of it halting however many times?
41. I'm at 41, 42.
Get out.
Yeah. 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. This is how many times? 47, 48.
I wasn't even close.
49, 50.
I wasn't even close.
That's 50 at that marker. So we're going to go to JZ here and show you guys what we're talking about. This is the stock here. Halted again right now. I think it's Chinese, but I don't know. It's a Chinese education technology group. So what was that at 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55? Oh my God. So, you know, when you're sitting around your dinner table tonight and they want to know some weird facts, 55 halts at this point, and it's 220 right now on JZ. From what I can count, I mean, I might have skipped over, you know, a couple there, but it's in the 50s, I would say, at least. If I made a mistake, it wouldn't have been that much, but there's JZ right there halted. And this is going to be the case, right? I mean, you can come up here and we can call this up and we can see exactly what the short float is.
Nothing.
So, yeah, well, not that, it's this.
It's the float.
Well, no, the float is still 46 million, so I'm not really sure. This might not be right here. Our trading higher after the company announced it has entered into an agreement with CRDO. Okay. All right, so again, another AI sort of collab right over there. So we'll wait to see what this means for Jay-Z and so on and so forth. But it's kind of funny because you can see, oh, where did it go? You can see that it did trade through, it's haven't even traded. Normally, you know, you have 38 million, unless that number is way off that I just read to you guys, 46 million.
No, I confirmed that at a second.
Kind of doesn't seem like it should be halting that much. But again, educational names in China have been actually pretty good trades. Sometimes we did get, there used to be a couple of different public names there, and then they went private and so on and so forth. And then last week we had the Chinese shipping names that were going up and down there. TIGR was one, and Futu was another one. And what is actually, it's just so funny because we go over to talk about them for a lot, and then we stop talking about them. Yeah, so there's Futu downside 160 down to $80 or something that day. Now back up to 102. So we'll see if that gets going. As well, but yeah, you know what, a name that I almost traded here, I'm going to look for some trades because I just don't want to sit here all day and do nothing. I should have shorted Robinhood at 92. That is still available right now, but they just made, again, it looked like sort of a top right into here from that pre-market, and then I was looking at the 5-minute chart, and we had taken out this level right there of 92, so I was thinking like on a break back down below right here, maybe have something with a stop up around 92.50. So that, you know, could be something there on a 5-minute chart, just looking at this level. That's kind of the stuff that I'm trying to figure out. There's something that's maybe broken from a key level and now heading southbound. Now the market's up 0.8, you know, and this has been quite the July, hey, it's June, quite the April, May, and then starting off here in June.
Don't put us in July yet, we can't skip that. Can't skip June.
No, we can't skip June, we won't be doing that. But the market, again, another all-time high today, ES, NASDAQ, everything, so. It doesn't seem to be anything slowing this thing down. And SoFi.
Goggin is asking about Virgin Galactic.
Yeah, we're talking about SPC.
I was thinking, like maybe VWAP here, because that halt. While we're talking about halts, that halted down in the about 768, reopened 750. So you're getting that range plus VWAP for potential pullback. The only thing that would be iffy about this would be if you're buying it at VWAP, you're buying it after it loses the trend from the bottom. That I'm not a huge fan of. But like VWAP is VWAP. If it shows the bounce, it can be worth a shot there. But it is, yeah, it would be a B trade because it would be breaking trend. The other thing is this range is where resistance was going back to November of 2024. They had a little while back there to find this area of resistance just underneath the $8 level there on Space. But Virgin Galactic, it does deserve to be on the list, above the volume weighted average price, trending up this afternoon. It's what you want to see. I know you mentioned AMC was up. That's going to be breaking out. It turns out that ended up being a good short when it broke the trend, but it's back at the highs. A little bit of a double top here on AMC. 20% to the upside and holding the $2 level. Maybe look for a false break of the high. There was something last week that didn't give us that look. We were looking for a false break of the high and then a dip buy, and then it didn't do either one of those things. But that's a potential today for AMC. You know, let it take out the top, maybe a pullback into the $2 even level, which would be a good zone to look for something. So I got that on the mind. Still this IBIT, which is, I guess it's
You
not
mentioned
really.
the short flow. Was there a short flow on AMC? I didn't.
Oh, AMC? I think it was down to 7, something like that. But that's like a couple weeks ago. What do we got? 8.5% short float on AMC. That's just not what it used to be. Like AMC, a lot of these meme stocks, that's just not where the juice has been lately in terms of looking for short squeezes. Like you wanted things like, I bet you Virgin Galactic's is much better. 22% short flow for Virgin Galactic. You know, like that's where you're going to get more of a squeeze potential. That's nothing against AMC. Like if AMC was 25% short float, I'd probably be more interested in this one as a breakout long. And look at the daily chart. It's back above the 200. Actually, this does look pretty solid. Above the 200 period moving average. You know, breaking out above prior resistance just underneath $2. This actually does look pretty solid on AMC. But I'd rather buy the dip, failing the break of the high. Like don't chase it. Let it pull back a couple points back into this too, and see if it can go from there. So I'm feeling the same way about Virgin Galactic and AMC this afternoon, if either wants to come on. Come into play.
I was checking out Benzinga here, and I actually closed it by accident. But here it comes back upside again. I wanted to see, because I was typing in here BBAI, like I think there must be something wrong. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Yeah. So they just didn't adjust it. So there it is right here. This is another one with a short flow, as you guys can see here. We'll zoom in just a little bit to give you that look. 26% short right there on BBAI. Now we're not worried about the float, almost 500 million shares, so it's not going to run for any reasons like that, but that's another name there, Big Bear AI, that you can see here today is up quite nicely. And this is another one of the plays that, you know, I've made and sort of been holding on to this one for a minute. We're long at $4.20, right now $5.40. And, you know, I was even telling you guys we're long at $4.20 when it was down here at $3.20. So we did hold this one against ourselves. We'll wait to see if Big Bear AI can go. But right now it's finally crossing the 200 period moving average. So we like that stock. I like the stock. Let's see what winds up happening there with Big Bear AI. It's one of the names that I was pushing on January the 12th when we made our picks, right? And so Big Bear AI, see if it gets going here. I really feel like we are in this whole little sort of world right now where a lot of these names associated are starting to go. We've seen SpaceX, we've seen Virgin Galactic, SPCE. It's so funny because SPCX is going to be SpaceX's symbol. So I just wonder how much, you know, because we used to get it wrong on Tesla or Twitter. There used to be different symbols that were very close to all of that. So I just wonder, SPCE, will that get a little bit of false love maybe come SpaceX
Especially
time?
on day one.
People putting in, potentially the wrong symbols. So we also did have someone in the chat there. I'm going to shout you out. I'm not sure, where was it over there? I'm sorry, I missed your name, but you mentioned Sony as them potentially being an AI play. So just wondering, you know, what the AI is involved with that, you know, maker of various electronics, you know, I guess there's Sony Pictures as well. Maybe they can take advantage of a little bit of an AI there. But electronics are getting more and more expensive to make simply because even a TV, you know, has got some memory in it. And they, you know, they need to figure out the component inputs to all this. The glass is becoming more expensive. Like everything that some of these producers make is getting more expensive. So just wondering about that one there. So maybe it was you, Top VoIP, asking me about Sony, the charts?
It's probably similar to the AirPods, wouldn't it be? Like they got.
No one's buying Sony AirPods.
But I'm saying like it's got to be wearable. How else are they integrating AI other than?
Well, that's what I was wondering. Maybe we could find out about that. But yeah, I think the chart looks good. I mean, bouncing off the 21 period, I'm not sure, when they're going to report, but Sony down there at $21, not horrible. And if I can just call up some of the details on Sony here, just to have a quick little look to see what's going on with their PEs. I'm not worried about their short flow or anything. So PE of 16, pretty good. We're looking for multiples underneath the market. So that's definitely underneath the market right there with a 16 PE. So we think we like that one. The short flow is not existent. Obviously 6 billion shares outstanding as well. Market cap of only 127 right now. So maybe you're on to something, and we'll just figure it out. If there's anything, Director sold 400,000 shares, not great, but that's okay. As we go along there, no news for a while on Sony. So yeah, good call out there. I think the chart actually looks good as it approaches its 200 period moving average. Look, not everything is going to moon, but Sony, I guess, right there, good look, and maybe there is something to do with that. Good potential, and if it was you, start talking in the chat and let me know where the AI play is with Sony. And right now we'll go back to Adara.
Keep an eye here in VFS now. It's worth noting volume on this is not massive, about 850,000 shares traded on the day, but it did take a steep uptick in volume and, as you can see, in price. A couple minutes ago, the company posted on X that they have achieved level 4 autonomous driving in conjunction with NVIDIA. So autonomous driving partnership with NVIDIA, at least being implied here by this VFS post. Good look for the stock. Again, volume minimal, but it has taken an uptick. Back to you.
Okay.
VinFast.
VinFast, yeah. They used to be a sponsor of the show. We really like to see some VinFast going on there. And that's a part of it, right? You're getting that, all those autonomous driving. If the vehicles can achieve that, then maybe they hit the road and more and more people will make that move over to autonomous. And we talked about Lemonade giving different values and a table now for insurance. If we already have so much data about the Tesla full self-drive, that, if it's proven that you're using full self-drive, you'll pay, much less of a... that
was a good partnership for Lemonade. And then what Waymo's doing with their new, I guess like the van or whatever. Saw that one getting rolled out, and they're continuing to expand because they're the leader ultimately, is going to be Waymo, at least for now. First one, we just came into VWAP on IBIT, so it broke the volume weighted average price, but basically been shorting it underneath. So another retest of VWAP. I got this little green bar here. It's like a 40, 56 area will get out if it breaks any higher than that. It's a relatively tight risk. And then AMC. So AMC is making it's not going to pull back, I guess. AMC is just making a clean break and run for the border there, AMC, as we are now 212. I think 214 is going to be the high. So I want to try to play a dip, maybe back into the prior high here. Didn't really want that afternoon breakout. The volume is picking up. That's good. So you're getting the volume picking up. Maybe not as big as it was in the morning, but you don't expect anything to do the volume it was doing in the morning. But I want to look for that dip buy there, or potentially Space. Although, Space really isn't moving. Actually, Virgin Galactic pulling back from that $8 level. It's got to be something else in here. What's SMCI?
Maybe some Robinhood.
SMCI is breaking out high of the day. Let's see where this is at. But still underneath Friday's high. So double top breakout potential on SMCI at 48.34 I have as Friday's high. So that's a potential breakout, but like double barrel, like double top break here on SMCI. I might take a shot at that.
So I have a new position right now. I mean, we talked about missing Robinhood, and I did miss it for sure, up there at 92. We sort of broke down what we were looking for with Robinhood. So I'm just gonna put it on now. It's very, very light. Like if I can have one unit by the time it comes to 92, that would be sort of the plan of action right here. So we'll start to build this. Again, crypto's to the downside. We've seen Robinhood have a huge move over the last couple of days and then come right into a level that, may or may not get supported right here at $94 to $95. Now, we're a ways away from that. We're not going to hold it all the way back up. In fact, we will try to build a position into 92 bucks there and then watch to see if that is eventually something that we want to trade through into the close. But right now, we're just going to take a little baby short. And I do have another offer in the 60s, basically right where this 25 period moving average is, and then up to into the 50 period. And then we'll wait to see if we can hold 92. But a little bit of a start there for Robinhood. And, a name that in my own account, and, we talk about this often on the show, different decisions that we make. I bought some 16s, but I also bought some 18s as well. So on the way down in, bought 18s on SoFi, just bought 16s last week. I think we were just sitting right at 16, so unfortunately we didn't get the lows of 15 and change. We got 16s again, and here's the bump up on SoFi. And it's nice because it's all the way back to where it was in February. So it's been a struggle for a minute there on SoFi. It's also already hit 20 during this sort of struggle bus. and then just fell all the way back down again. So we're going to see if SoFi wants to break itself out. Tokenization was talked about there. The SoFi token came through on Friday, so that could be another play there. And just reminding me of another name, you know, we bought some IBM on the quantum news, and that's straight upside as well. So that's been working out for us here. IBM up 7% today. And I was worried about it running rate. Like we had bought down here. Now I was worried about it running into this area, 265 or so. And it said, no, thank you on Friday. And said, don't worry about that. And we closed in and around 270. So that already breaks sort of that top resistance potential, you know, top there. We blew out the top. So now where do you go? You go higher into $300. Sorry, that was Friday, into 300. And then now today, you're right up to all-time highs, I believe now on IBM. And I know Joe would must like IBM. This is the biggest dividend pretty much of any tech name out there. IBM in and around that 4% marker. Might even be higher, but again, with the value, it's based, you know, dividend percentages are based on where the stock is trading, of course. So that if it was,
it's a lot different now.
If it was 4% down there, maybe it's 3% now, but you'll take that, you know, 40% appreciation in stock price over a 4% dividend, of course. So
I'd hope you would.
Well, actually, it'd only be a change of 1%. So yeah, dividend again, depending on how it's taxed. You might want to watch out for that, but there it is. So we're in the money now, 20 cents on Robinhood, and we are going to take a piece out near 91 if it comes into those levels.
I think we're in a second, might be going to Adair, but this pullback is happening
I should be
potentially
hooked up.
here in AMC. So as long as it holds on to the prior high, which it looks like it's doing, confirm the close above 209 on this candle on a 3-minute. Going to take it somewhere in this 11-12 range. Maybe we're not going to Adair, and then get out in front of that 209. But I do want to see that. I do want to see that confirmation there on AMD. Luis just said they're thinking of long Tesla at 420. Well, 420 has never mattered for Tesla. That price level, what? No. It's never mattered. Oh, there's been some accumulation at the 420 level here for Tesla, but it is pretty weak relative to the market. It's pretty undeniable. So I usually like it if it shows you that it's breaking a downtrend. Like if you just go from the first pop at lunchtime, like it's definitely consolidating to a potential like breakout on the 15-minute here, but it hasn't really happened yet. Now you sort of have a round number that's been holding in this downtrend, but it's still very much in the midst of this downtrend. I believe now, well, you guys can see. Adair's at the screen. Let's go to her.
It's no SpaceX, but we do have a pretty big IPO coming through here on Thursday. Neil's already mentioned it. I think Sean's also already mentioned it. Quantinuum. I mean, great quantum continuum pun here in the name of this company. They're going to be trading as QNT here on the NASDAQ. Now, again, this isn't until Thursday, so it's very likely some of the pricing will change. I will update this visual accordingly if this does, in fact, take place. But either way here's some info on the company. Their CEO is Dr. Rajiv Raj Hazra. He is, again, president and CEO of Quantinuum, and he also, I believe, was a prior Intel exec, so he does have some Intel connections. Not sure how far back those go. This company was founded here in 2021. It was a spinoff here of the merger between Cambridge Quantum and Honeywell Quantum Solutions. This company back in September of 2025, so not all that long ago, they actually achieved a record here for quantum volume with one of their computers. Now, it's worth noting tons of underwriters on this IPO, more than I've ever seen. The two lead underwriters here were identified as JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. They're offering 26.5 million shares offer amount here, $1.46 billion. They just raised their IPO range from $45 to $50 up to $53 to $55. And once again, this is set to go public here on Thursday, June 4th. Now, if we learned anything from Cerebras, it's very likely that we'll see this price uptick here ahead of the IPO. So as I said, if we get more info, you'll get a new infographic. In the meantime, you can find this one on XTTV Research. Back to you.
Any meaningful IPO, you're going to see 2 of 4 names on those underwriters: JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. You're always going to get a couple of those bad boys in, and they just win. I saw there was a joke in the chat about when can we get enough of this tech? When can we get back to trading boring banks and energy? Well, trust me, the financials never stay boring forever. And, well, energy's been moving, so yeah, you can't really make the argument there. But there's nothing bad. Look, forget about JP Morgan for a second. There's nothing bad about Morgan Stanley and Goldman. Those two have been absolutely fine. Is this a boring stock? That chart looks pretty good to me. I'm a fan. Like you look at this, you look at Goldman Sachs and these IPOs, the IPO market heating up and getting, I mean, a little bit absurd in size, as we're going to see with SpaceX, and then we're going to see again with, I guess, Anthropic next, and then OpenAI. So we'll get all three of, we'll likely get all three of those. I'm pretty sure we'll see all three this year, and the winners are pretty profound, and it's just fantastic for these guys. They just play the game, they set it up, and they rake, and they win, and you can't go wrong there. But it has been much better, specifically for Morgan and Goldman, because of the trading side. It's the trading side, the IPO side, the more focus you have on that, the better you're doing relatively. There's nothing against JP Morgan, that's just how it's been. If we're being honest, we've got to be real about it. We said that to begin the year. Like if you're looking at the XLF, there's just better places to be by picking specific names. It's that simple.
All right, so yeah, good call on those banks. I mean, we've been talking about those for a minute. I know Joe likes JP Morgan. I like JP Morgan as well. I have a little bit of Goldman, no Morgan, but bang. All right, so Robinhood, a couple outs there at the 200 period moving average. Took some, it's so funny because I took some 11s and I took some 7s. So not too bad here on a push down into the 200 period moving average. I mean, we want to take some out. We are trying to build a much bigger position if it came up to the top side there, but we kind of just fell back in right into our lap. So let's take the profit where it lies right now for that. So we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening with $91 coming into play there. What else is hitting? So PayPal, we're already on Robinhood there, Affirm coming through. Guys, put in the chat what you want us to look at, because there are a couple names that we can go over the visualizer as well to see what's popping through. And by the way, there's Jay-Z again, halted one more time. We're not going to cover this too much. Like it opens up and then halts right away. Each one of these candles is 1 minute. So like, you know, it's opening and halting, like not even staying open. I'm really kind of surprised. Like, why would they open it? And I guess it's just all automatic now, right? So it's all, there's actually nobody physically in charge of this, I would imagine, not this stock anyways. Like why, when it opens at 3:30 or whatever it's gonna open, right now it's saying 3:17, like that's already, like the 10%, it's gonna hit that 10% mark in, again, like a couple seconds once it opens back up, right? I mean, we weren't even open too long that last time there. So if you look here, well, let me see if we can even, no, we don't even have it, but it closed, it looks like maybe we opened at 39 and then halted at 46, maybe it was open for 7 seconds. Like, I don't think that this is going to be one that ends well, but for right now, I don't know when it's gonna end. So let's wait, pay attention to this. And if you're looking at a chart, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for just rolling this. You know, every single open has created better opportunities. I mean, here we came back in, but we didn't, it wasn't that much. We came back in from 270 down to 240, then right back up to 3. And right now the tap, you can always ask us what it is, $3.17 right there for the tap. So once that opens back up, and it should open up soon. That says when's the last halt there? 240? We got a little bit of time now, so it's only 2 minutes since it's halted. So we'll check back on that one. The summertime trade maybe is in on Roblox. You know, I think that more and more kids, we talk about the dangers of Roblox, fine, I understand all that. But, you know, right now, maybe it starts to creep back up. So, you know, a lot of these stocks continue to get beat up down to the downside. We've seen Meta. You know, some of these software names, we saw Take-Two take it on the chin a little bit there when they delayed their trailer release, TTWO. But here's Roblox. Again, like the stock, some of the names that they put out, just huge playable hours and whatnot for Roblox. And they do make a decent amount of money, but you have to watch out for the fact that, you know, the jurisdictions and all this sort of the legal side of it here on Roblox. And some of the countries have even limited, you know, some of the age groups and all that kind of stuff. Like just like I think it was Australia got rid of some of the stuff with Meta, Instagram and TikTok and all that. And, you know, you can see what Meta's been doing. Wow, 606. Meta down 4%, man. That was what an afternoon that was just a couple afternoons ago where we had Meta long on that announcement and it just kept on mooning. And I think we all thought that it was a great opportunity to buy some Meta, but it's fallen right back in now.
Bad reaction to good news.
Yeah, exactly. Right back into $600 again. So, you know, we can be definitely wrong on that. I mean, all you have to do is, you know, rewind a couple days and we were like, well, yeah, maybe we buy some of this, maybe buy some of that. And now it's just falling right back in. So if you liked it a couple days ago, and you're probably loving it now, as it's falling back into 600. But
the problem is it's exactly the same. If you were a dip buyer in this stock,
you're still there
at any point this year, except for that one dip under 600. Like there was 1 to 520. it's the same place it was the last time you bought it. It's not giving you that breakaway. And we got Ace Deuce on TikTok asking about Meta.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, and shout out to our viewers on TikTok. Ace Deuce 8, I think it was, or when I see Ace Deuce, I'm like, you must be a poker player.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a bad hand.
Well, I don't know.
Bring people in.
I've never liked that hand as a starting hand. I just find.
I mean, I always like an ace.
Weak. If you're heads up, that's one thing, but weak aces can get you into some trouble. It's an easy way to get into trouble. And if you're heads up, or if you're playing at like a loose table, there's some good spots for it. But I don't know. You're really just gonna play. Sometimes you're looking for that wheel here or there. You're always gonna be outkicked in a lot of situations. It's what it is. But Meta, you better not lose 600. You really better not lose this 600 level after telling us that you're going to monetize Instagram, telling us that you're going to monetize AI. That's pretty much what everybody has wanted to hear from Meta. So when that happens, it loses support. Bad. Very bad, Jerry. That's Babu. Give him the Matumbo finger wave. It is the Matumbo, but it's also Babu from Seinfeld, which was one of the greatest shows of all time.
Seinfeld, how many seasons? I feel like he didn't have too many seasons.
It's not.
Was it 9 or something?
Was it as many as 9?
As many as 9?
I think it was. All I know is I don't love Seinfeld, but I do really like Curb. And I know the whole thing they did with the last season of Curb is they were trying to reclaim how badly a lot of people felt Seinfeld ended. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen much Seinfeld, but go Larry David, go Curb.
I didn't mind the ending of Seinfeld. I didn't mind it. I don't know. I thought it's a great show. They left while they were still on top. They didn't play it out too. They didn't play the string out.
No, yeah. It was
so
all
that
good.
you completely jumped the shark, which I think that's a good way for a show to end. You don't want to just keep. Money's there to be made, but sometimes a show will just go way too far. Trying to play out the string. I don't know, so we're at first support, so just starting to take some out of IBIT. Not really seeing much of anything on that SMCI. The breakout through Friday's high never got there, so that's not even close to getting past the breakout. Virgin Galactic is going. Well, so much for dipping into VWAP. Maybe it's just an $8 hold and break. So this one's really starting to go. Again, well, some people think that Roth is the best stock ever. Curb is the greatest show ever.
It's not. No. It's a good show, but not the
It
best
is.
ever.
It's a great show.
We're going to ring the
I love Kirby.
register. There's Robinhood. I mean, hello to 50 cents, We're in the club with 50 cents. And there it goes, man, down from 91.40, just making moves down. We're out of half of this one already as, it may be our birthday, and we are celebrating it with this one, and it goes to the downside right now. So we're in the club, and it's a nice move. So we'll see if we can get into that dollar club, but I don't really care about that at this point. We're just trying to find some good opportunities. And I told you, I missed the trade right here. It should have been probably put on somewhere in here once we broke that 25 period moving average, then broke the 50. And I don't want to say it's out of boredom because that's not true. We're always going to try to make a little bit of money here. But then once it broke right into here, 91.40, that's when I sort of said, okay, let's just go for this thing. And there's a nice downside play. So I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. I'm going to take a little bit out right here. We did get, and it's interesting, we did get an OpenAI defense right now of Anthropic because Anthropic today apparently files anyways, for an IPO. So I don't know why. To me, Amazon is the largest investor in Anthropic, so I don't really know why it's down 3% there. The next most public company that's invested in Anthropic is Alphabet, and they're also down today, or was down a lot more than they are now. Nice move higher there for Google. I remember this morning I was like, hey, at one point are we buying some Google? I remember when 280 was a kind of a cool level to buy there for Google, and the reason why 280 because it came right back into some of these November bunch ups there when we went from 280 there to 350. This is the thing. There's going to always be opportunities to do something. And then there it comes right back into 272. And I think you might be getting a small opportunity right now. Google from 410. Wow, some of these prices there, man, that some of these names got to, absolutely unreal. I mean, Google, it's not like it's a brand new story or anything. This is a very, very storied company that we all knew about. And just back in last May, let's just go back to a year ago today. This is June right here. 168 is where Google was a year ago today. Did we know they were working on Waymo? Yes. Did we know they had a monster cloud? Yes. you know, everything. Did we know that YouTube was huge? Yes.
What's the percent up?
Oh, the percent up is monstrous. I mean, we just went from here in 1 year. Let's take it. We'll roughly go from right now. It's 127, but that's just from to where it was there to where it is today, let alone up there. So you're about 130% on this kind of a name. So anybody that wants to hold their money in their mattress or anything like that, wrong move over the last couple of years, that's for sure. As the NASDAQ.
What about in rubber bands? Is that okay?
Yeah, it depends. I don't have a thick enough rubber band, but yeah, you can do that there. Hold that in there, and then make sure when you go to the club, you got some singles. What's up, Fabian?
Yeah, as long as you got that. In that
Fabian's
same
working
time,
on some new mics.
Anthropic in the private markets has gone up 4x.
Yep.
In the private market.
Anthropic is Anthropic. I mean, they have the Claude, and
the
you
Claude.
know, they don't pull the same weight as Google. Like Anthropic, will it go 4x its first year being public? Maybe. You know, I mean, if it does do that, then you will have the richest, most valued company in the world. You know, if Anthropic goes up 4 times next year. So, you know, does it deserve it? Probably not. But, you know, we're paying for future worth. You know, and if everybody's going to have all these AI agents, it seems like Claude right now has the heads up on the commercial side. And I think that's what everyone's looking for.
Everybody's telling you that that's the best one. And I think I feel with the big 3 IPOs, that's the one I most commonly hear that people are more interested in having when it opens. At least, this is all anecdotal, and some people I'm talking to. I don't know anybody that wants to just go, take what, let's just say your initial starting investment on an average stock when you add to your portfolio is 10K. I don't know anybody that wants to put that into SpaceX. I don't know anybody that wants to put that into OpenAI. But I know a couple people who are like, yeah, I'll just buy I'll just buy Anthropic and hold. It's just a little bit different. We do have a super chat in here. I want to quickly, oh, wait a minute. That's not the, why do I not see, okay, if you can throw it up there, because I'm not seeing the latest one on our little widget. 140K in E-Trade account and was offered the Quantum IPO. To be told I don't qualify. Do you have to?
That Quantinium or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was Quantinium or whatever.
It's Quantinuum.
It's a pun on, obviously, in continuum and quantum, which I love because I love puns. But yeah, there's the 2 U's, so it's quantinuum.
Not that it, Quantinuum. Okay. Not that it really matters. I mean, it's every broker might be a little bit different in terms of the rules that they do, but to say that, that's the best way to say this. To say that the rules, regardless of who your broker is, are geared to allow the everyday average investor the best access to IPOs at the issue price would just be untrue. That's just, the markets aren't set up that way. It's getting better. There's no question about it. There are a lot of places, and Robinhood's an example. There's plenty of examples of where they're trying to make these things more accessible. But then the other end of the spectrum is like that's all opening up at a time when we're now getting more mature companies, not maybe in this case, but certainly in the case with SpaceX and certainly in the case with Anthropic when it comes around, where things are private for longer. So by the time they come to the market, you're missing out on so much upside as opposed to when we were kids. Well, when we were younger, I mean, I think about where Facebook was when it came to market. You could have bought that and felt pretty good about the valuation and the chance for growth when it came out. It wasn't even that popular on day one. As a matter of fact, it was pretty. I mean, if you just punched long on day one of Facebook, you lost money. But if you bought it, it was as strong. Like, I don't think you get that opportunity with SpaceX and Quantinium, whatever. These smaller ones still give you the massive.
There's 2 U's at the end. There's no like inium.
I keep looking at it and just saying it wrong, so I'm just going to stop saying it. Zach Spider, we got this from TikTok. They always tell the gifts from TikTok. What do we think about Hive? I think we mentioned this going into the report tonight. Was Hive tonight?
I don't know.
Dara, was Hive reporting tonight? Or is it
Yeah, I mentioned that. I put this earlier on the screen as well when someone asked about it during a super chat. Hive is reporting tonight. So is Credo Technology, and last but not least, HPE Hewlett Packard. I have infographics for 2 of the 3. Unfortunately, Hive is not one of them. That'll be coming out in X at TTV Research.
You know, earnings are such a gigantic risk in terms of the volatility. Like this could pull back significantly and still kind of hold structure, let's just say, if it holds like 360 to 370. It's also almost doubled up in a couple of weeks here. You go back to the middle of May and this was 270. It hit $5 today. That's almost a double up. I mean, you know, like when you take breakouts like this and you try to hold them through earnings, sometimes that can be, it's just like a waste of an opportunity. And you know, you say all that, and if you take some profit, like I usually do, if I'm swinging into something and it shows me a double up going into earnings, I'm almost certainly taking profit before that print, because I don't want it to give back 30% or whatever is possible when it comes to Hive. I'm not here to talk about it fundamentally, because if it breaks the trend on earnings, it can do so with a gap and not necessarily intraday, which is a little bit different if it didn't have that kind of a catalyst. So just, you know, be careful with it. It's been a fantastic runner, no questions asked for you. If it pulls back into the 200 SMA, that's even still pretty reasonable on the structure of the trade. So, you know, give it some respect as due. Another stock which is continuing to break out. AMC just keeps on going. It's pretty wild. 25% for AMC and Virgin Galactic. Like it's almost as if we're back in 2020, except in 2020 GameStop would also be doing things, and it is most certainly not. They got all this cash.
I asked
and it's like, what are we doing with it? What are we doing with it?
What are they doing with it, Neil? It's on the website.
Oh, that's right. It's on the website.
It's on the website.
It's on the website.
Go check it out on the website. They might be buying eBay apparently as well. I asked everybody in the chat there, you know, what are you guys actually using Claude for? Super chat from Shane B. Smoking over here. He's smoking some Claude, it looks like. Uses Claude code to build a production quality trading bot. Okay, that is making an average of 3% every single day. So we say, oh my God, that's a nice little number there. If you can keep on compounding that.
3% a day is tremendous.
That would be absolutely unbelievable if you did that as well. Go find me on, the best way is probably Twitter. Just if you have a Twitter handle, go find the right one, at TraderTVSean. And you know, let me know, put it in my DMs, and we can have a look together maybe at it. And that would be awesome for that as well. See if we can fine tune that, get that to 4%, 3.5%, something like that. I mean, any little bit helps. So here we go. Like, you know, I might need something like that as well. Here it comes right back in to Robinhood. I'm just going to put a bid. Like for me, it would be like putting out bids and offers at the right level, so I don't have to sit here and always do it. Because when I do it, I get excited and sometimes get out a little bit too early. But right now we're already out of 60%. We got some good fills here on Robinhood. It's underneath the 200 period. Looks like we might have just stopped pretty cold turkey there at 90.70s. So we're going to wait for another bid down there. I'm bidding 80s. So if we can get 10 cents lower or so, we'll grab another fill, and then we'll wait to see if it wants to sort of collapse on itself. Because we're holding this area right now on the, and look, we're going to be a show, okay, did I get 82s there? No, I did not. That hopefully we can give you some entertaining thoughts and also give you a couple of trades and explain why we're getting out and why we're getting in on them. And then you guys can judge for yourself the legitimacy of legitimacy of those. There it is. So we just get an 82 right there. So we go bang, 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 bang. Legitimacy of those trades, and ask us at any point what you think, what we think of a chart, or why we're into a trade or whatever. And I sort of mentioned that because of what IBIT was doing, because Robinhood was pulling back in today, felt like the market, you know, wasn't really going to do too much. We wanted to find a name with a little bit of juice behind it. So we get Robinhood. We definitely miss it all the way up there. We were waiting for many more shares, but right now it is downside and looking to stop out now. We got another piece out, so we only have 30% left, but it's Robinhood to the rescue on the downside. And then the other banks here, JP Morgan, not doing a whole heck of a lot. Often, I know you're going to talk about space, Virgin Galactic. We'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to say, like, sometimes we're doing the show and we can actually forget to talk about the broader sectors, right? And I mean, we talked about that already, 11 or 12 sectors inside the S&P 500. And today it's interesting to look because there's Amazon retail really getting hit. Like, I don't think it's a very strong consumer out there. We sort of have talked about, wow, okay. Walmart, like, you want to talk about a pullback right now? Walmart is on one. I don't remember the last time the Walmart daily chart actually looked like this. You're probably going to find it somewhere, but there it is now, cracking. Wow, Walmart getting, good thing I'm in Target here. Walmart getting hit pretty nicely down into 114. We were thinking about this at I'm not even in this. So right now, I get all the value back to last Christmas right now. So sitting around for the last 6 months in Walmart netted you nothing. And now you're all the way back down into 115 again. So let's wait to see how far Walmart wants to fall. But right now, breaking through the 200 period moving average is Walmart. Really interesting there on the daily. I just want to talk about that quickly. Is the whole retail space today. Home Depot is not looking great either, down 3 to 308 right now, down 3%. Target was still down, but it was still, we sold it. I don't even see Target in here anymore. Oh, there it is, down 2.5%. We sold some at 121, so that's still up, which is nice. We're long in the 80s on that one. And then just quickly, and we'll be done. Tesla down 3 and a bit. Energy, XOM upside there. CVX up. So XOM up 2 and a bit. Same with Chevron there, up 2. The financials, we looked at that as a little bit of a different day, depending on what you're in. So Morgan and Goldman there with upside. And then Visa, JPM, Berkshire. Berkshire was a weird one, man. It doesn't pay dividends.
They did a deal today, so that's the reason they're down.
Yeah, well, the reason they're down, I don't know what the reason is. I
No,
mean,
literally today they announced.
No, I know, but it's been kind of like.
Well, because it's. I just think
nothing
it's
this whole time.
It's basically a huge cash position.
Yeah.
While the market's been blasting, and then obviously.
I mean, look
obviously
at this.
Warren Buffett out and Abel in, and they're looking for like, what's the reason to be in this anymore?
I mean,
no dividend, like.
Yeah, like this is from 500 all the way down to 470 right now, and looking to break lower. So I don't know. I'm in this small, but I'm not digging myself into Berkshire anymore. I mean, you know, they do have that big Apple hoard as well. So Apple's been doing okay, and Apple actually today, I think, was down a little bit, right? Down to 307 here.
Yeah,
Apple,
but still's most of the mag that's not in.
Yeah. Well, actually, battled back nicely there, Apple, but still down on the day. And look at this, man, just near all-time highs. So Sharif better watch his mouth on the dead one because Apple has arisen. And we have CrowdStrike and PANW later this week. Those are big ones.
Yeah, well, they've run so much. It's going to be. It's just going to be hard for them. I don't care who you are. You can't make the move that CrowdStrike did and expect all things to be roses, even if you have a great print. It's just going to be. It matters how you've moved into the earnings just as much as what the earnings are. And if you're priced to perfection, then that's going to happen. Virgin Galactic really rolled over here, so there was a crazy candle, lost $8. It's broken that trend line. It did bounce, but it did bounce off VWAP, but I can't ignore the fact that this is a bit of a trend break. So I want to see this hold underneath $8. Look for a fade there. Tried reloading on IBIT, but it didn't quite come into VWAP. To get a reload, so no reload on that bad boy. But yeah, trend break happened on Virgin Galactic. I just paid for locates, and they were, I mean, we had to pay for them, but they were effectively free. So as it comes back into this 8 area, we'll look for it to put in a lower high and maybe a head and shoulders look, and then play this one to the south side. Gotta show me that setup. And as I said, we're sitting here looking for the IBIT reload and haven't really gotten it just yet. So we've held for support, just looking to get a reload and then a breakdown trade on this one. Oh, the other thing to keep in mind, after we get window dressing or month end, SMCI, all that crazy stuff that we saw on Friday, remember, sometimes the following day you'll see some residual nonsense. Not nonsense, but like big imbalances on the first of the month. Could be some of the ones that move the most. Now, a lot of times you might see some extra action, and the big ones were NVIDIA. Like the largest imbalances were Intel and NVIDIA. The biggest movers in the big cap space was those two plus AMD and I believe Microsoft as well. So those should be on watch for this afternoon. Specifically for myself, I'm going to be looking at NVIDIA and Intel the closer we get. And remember, you don't know what imbalances look like for the NASDAQ stocks until 350. That's what makes them the most explosive. New York, you get an early look. Amex, you get an early look. NASDAQ is a surprise until the number comes out there. So those are the ones you need to have it up because it's not like you have any idea that it could come out big.
Before we look at this, I just want to show you that there it is, man. Dollar. And there's Robinhood. So, now I only have 20% left as there it goes right to the downside. So we're looking for a trade for you. If you're looking for trades, hopefully you found the right spot right there. There goes Robinhood back down to the downside in a good little one right there. We do want to thank our sponsors because volatility creates movement. And for sophisticated traders, movements creates opportunity. And Beta Pro by Global X offers Canada's first and longest running suite of levered and inverse levered ETFs. Built for, you guessed it, sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. It's triple levered bull and bear. ETFs are tied to the NASDAQ 100 index. They are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset U.S. dollar exposure back to the Canadian dollar. For those navigating short-term market moves, both up and down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that may look like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically, and of course, learn more at betapro.ca by scanning that QR code right there. Please go visit them, betapro.ca. We had them on the show. It was absolutely fantastic. And I realized that I was in a product that I did not know was theirs. So shout out to Beta Pro. They're all over the place. And Dara's got something for us.
Keep an eye here on Apple, guys. By no means is this story groundbreaking, but kind of interesting here. Bloomberg reporting that Apple is planning a new bill-splitting feature on the iPhone. So basically what you do is you take a photo of a receipt, you assign items on the receipt to different individuals, and then you can generate payment requests. So bill-splitting feature here in the newest iPhone. Apparently now we'll have to see if we get any more AI updates with said iPhone. But once again, this update being reported by Bloomberg, nothing massive, but kind of interesting story here as we start Power Hour. Back to you.
The Hour of Power won't be started with a big, huge move on Apple, but yeah, good, interesting there. I mean, we were waiting for Apple's idea of AI and what exactly does that look like for Apple. And, you know, it's a neat feature, but I'm, you know, wondering if maybe they're going to be getting into some accounting software, maybe if they're going to be doing stuff like that, taking pictures of things and being able to account for them. But again, like, I just know that being able to potentially choose either Claude or some sort of an agent to assist you with your Siri, with your experience there on Apple, many of those platforms, of course, would be able to bookkeep. And we actually, someone in there had mentioned bookkeeping that they're doing with Claude, and that was something that is available. And of course, everything's available over there now. And you know, do not get, I think that was good advice, do not get into accounting if you are young. That's advice that I would give my kids, of course, and I would be very, very careful with that. I just think that all these kind of professions right now are getting the gun turned at them. It doesn't mean that they're bad professions. It's just AI. I think you need a couple years to settle it out. And you know, they're gonna need people to code all this stuff. So coding obviously is pretty important, even though that's becoming easier, that the average person can now code something. Google 370, not really moving too much off there, but just want to show you, like, there's a VWAP hold. You know, give us a little bit of love there at 2 o'clock. So I chose Robinhood, which gave me the dollar. I couldn't be happier with it, but at the end of the day, Google off of VWAP there would have been nice, even better probably to the upside, because then we wouldn't have to fight the market, right? So when we're short here on Robinhood, we are somewhat fighting the market. Hey, I'm almost out of this, to be honest with you. I'm going to get out right here. I'm changing my stop, so $90.81. Let's just do that. I mean, my old stop wasn't even in question, so we didn't have to worry about it. Our old stop, we were gonna watch out for 92s. We sort of talked about that, so we didn't have to worry about it. We were actually trying to average into that position. So hold on a second, let me just do this, $90.81. We'll just have this feature out here. We really like this key. It's 100% stop, and you could actually go down and stop based on many different factors, but I'm gonna go with four different sets, either 25, 50, 75, or that 100. So I'm just gonna use 100%. You know, we only have 20% left of the position, so we'll just get out if it breaks that. We've been following this all the way down, so we'll get out. That's also, we've tested it too. That could also be a reload spot. But with the market making its move, I feel like if I were to reload that, it doesn't go for me, and we could lose the whole boat. Because remember, we're taking only pieces here. So we say we got something on the dollar, that was only for 10%, right? So we got to do better on that.
Reminds me of something I wanted to put a ticket in for.
When was that IPO? June 4th, right? So you guys still have a couple of days for that Quantinium there.
Yeah, it's on Thursday. There's also an energy play on Thursday that's a little bit bigger. Like, it's actually twice the notional size, and they are, I don't know, they do like data center powering, but I forget what type of energy. It might actually be gas energy, but who knows? One of the features I was interested in is the ability to have that stop order with the percentages, to have two of them. Like, ideally what I would want to be able to do is something goes in the money, have a stop which is higher. Let's just imagine you're long at $100.
You get it once, and you get it again if it breaks.
But then I have like a 50% trail stop, so get out half my position at say 125 as a
that might work.
And then I want then I want 100% stop at say 110. And that way I have multiple. I can do the percentage thing.
Test that right now.
You can't do it.
Oh, you tried.
So what the problem is, it won't let you put two in, even though theoretically the 100% stop, as long as you have any position, it always just takes out 100%. So if you have 1,000 shares, you do the 50% stop at one place, and then you have 500. But then the 100% stop will just see that you have 500. And so I noticed that when I was testing stuff out for one of the recent IPOs, this is why you test things, I realized I couldn't do that.
Right.
So at real trading, what you do is you go and you put a ticket in. So, and you put a feature request is what we like to call it. And then maybe it gets added, and hopefully that's one that they would want to add. And it was only in thinking that I was reacting to what happened with the Cerebras IPO and sort of how I could have done things differently to not give back as much of the profit as possible, and that was one of the ways that I thought would be useful. So we'll see. I don't think we can do that for SpaceX, but certainly I think it would be a useful feature. And we'll see. And the thing about it is, with your broker, with us, with Real Trading, if you don't ask for a feature, good luck getting it. I tell this to my daughter all the time. Like, the worst that they can say is no. The worst that it can be is, hey, we looked into it, it's not feasible, not enough people want it. Well, so what? You're right back to where you were anyway, so you might as well ask. Like, it's just, there's zero harm in doing so, outside of the 30 seconds it'll take me to put that ticket in at some point this afternoon. All right, so Virgin Galactic just did this little pullback into the volume-weighted average price, broke the trend. The first pop, holds consolidation confirming there. So I'm just in at the 3/4 mark, essentially, and gonna give it to this like 790 spot, and then look for it to play VWAP first. Good day for Virgin Galactic. 25%. The squeeze has been absolutely intense for the last week and a half, really, here on Virgin Galactic, from $2.50. I'm not saying this is the turnaround, but if you look at today, it's kind of got this double top thing going on, and then this is the trend break that we're looking at. Oren Blaster said, I told Benzinger, what is this? I told Benzinger Coder to change the title headings so they are editable. Let's see. Well, that's the thing. You know, you put requests in, you just ask. What's the worst that could happen? If it would help you, then just ask for it. It would blow my mind the number of times that I'd hear, I'm not going to say, people like a manager at an office would complain about something like, oh, did you put a ticket in? Did you ask for a request? No. Well, then what are you complaining about? Like you can whine all you want if you asked for it and it's like, oh, they decided not to do it. But if you didn't even bother, stop whining, as Arnold would say.
Oracle's at the high.
What movie was that?
Wow. Stop
Kindergarten
whining. I was going to say
Cop.
probably the
Kindergarten
one
Cop,
with the
that's
kids. Yeah, I was going to say Kindergarten Cop. Most likely there. Stop whining if you're Ford as well, down 4%.
Oh, down. I was going to hit the bang. I just assumed.
Yeah, no, it's we sold some. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I was here and it's fine. We sold some at 15. We sold some at, I think, 16.50 or something like that on Thursday. We sold some because, again, like, don't love the name, don't love the car business. Definitely making a huge move here for Ford. And, is there still ability for this name to get a little bit higher? Yes, there is. I mean, I do want to talk about Marvell. Wow. Why did I sell some? Like, you sell some Marvell at 218 and then it goes down to like 195. You don't buy any back. So then now you have less Marvell shares, right? So it's not necessarily a good thing. I'll show you some Marvell in a minute, but here's the weekly look on Ford. So it's just, this is again, this is going all the way back to 22 right there. Like, will it get to 25? I don't think so, but you got that bump up. I guess we could wait another quarter to see what those earnings look like, but I think that that's a great trade as it is. So we take out some here at 15 when it busted into this area because we didn't get any out that last time. And then we also get a little bit out here as we did it on Thursday. So back up here, I think it was 1670 or something like that. So out a little bit there. I think that's what the price is right now. Yeah, okay, so all right. So if I'm not telling the truth, you could get some out right now if you want on Ford, the same price I last did, and we'll have to wait to see what that's doing. But here's Marvell. I mean, wow, talk about a cash register right there. This is the one that's been helping me get to this level, but you got to have some prices right, and the prices right, whatever that word was that he uses there in that show. There's Marvell right now, 145% up since we last, this might not even be right on this, but here's our tracker as we go OB, and this is what we've done so far here. Since January 1st, you can see some of these levels. So OB with Sidious, he actually has that short, I think. Yeah, Sidious short. It would have been, again, these are pretty much blown out, and then there's the oil name as well, Circle short, Sidious short, and then Babcock Wilcox there with a nice little mover. But Obi definitely was running the thing for 100 days, and then all of a sudden, the cat came back the very next day. You might have thought I was a goner, but 52% right there so far year to date on the account. And we have Marvell, we have BBAI, and then we have Eli Lilly. So those are all pretty good ones. And then Ramin right there. And this is what can happen at any time. These names, Rocket Lab, Netflix, ASTS. So we'll see. Not dead yet here as we wait to see what winds up happening with space. But I've already sort of called that. It was last week, mid or early last week, I was like, look, Rocket Lab, overdone. ASTS, overdone. They're all overcooked, and not a bad game, Overcooked, if you guys have played it. But there it goes, upside right now, coming back in. And maybe now, I mean, I still think there's going to be a little bit of a run. I was not expecting this kind of a move to happen right now. I was expecting it the days leading up to SpaceX. I guess we're pretty close to that now. I think it's, 8 more trading days maybe until that comes through. So we'll have to wait to see that. But yeah, Rocket Lab right now on the pullback down in, as is ASTS, as is Sidious. All these names starting to pull in except for Virgin Galactic as that name's up. So I think it's like a switch from one to the other. And look where this got to. So no matter what hype we're talking about, it still has memory, comes all the way back into February highs for ASTS, and that's it. So nice move there. AST Mobile now pulling back just a little bit as a lot of the pressure is back onto space SPCE, which of course is Virgin Galactic. And just a quick look at this. Sidious down 9% right now. And again, great look on the move higher right there through this. So if anybody's been buying any kind of dips on SIDU, you've been well rewarded. But hey, like Jim Cramer, and a lot of people don't like him, but he always says, just go out and buy yourself something nice with some of the profits, because you never know what tomorrow will bring, right? And so
you got to enjoy your life, man, whatever that means.
Not just your life, but I mean just in your profits. You know, if you don't ever take something out, then you technically don't have a winner.
Or yeah, you can pass the winner on to your kids, I suppose. Like that's.
I don't want to put pressure on them, man. I'm passing them on cash, baby.
Straight cash, homie. Like Randy Moss, that's how he rolled. 10 G's out the pocket.
Thing is, like my father will be passing on something to me, but I've already built my own. So the whole thing is that we'll use that money to top up, obviously. But my kids, I want them to already start thinking about investing, which they already have. So I think that's very important. I started
building value.
I started at like 16, 17 years old. My eldest is 24, and I have another one that's 14. So yeah, time for them to start investing.
It's about understanding like compounding is a very important thing to understand. And I think the easiest way to do it is to.
That's so funny because
you have to be in the game to understand it a lot of times. It's interesting. It's actually a mathematical concept our brains aren't good at. So the more you immerse yourself into the idea of it, I think the better you will be. Virgin Galactic, space. I think we're practicing because we're gonna need to be calling this Virgin Galactic, because I think we're not gonna be calling this thing space in a couple of weeks. So Virgin Galactic has now bounced multiple times off VWAP, and the buyers are legit. Both 3-minute candles, clean off volume weighted average price. That was the only hiccup that I had with this trend break, was there's your consolidation, and that there's buyers at VWAP support here at 740. So I'm now out of it. You'll take what you can get. Like it basically went 775 down into 740 change here. So you just take the quick little scalp win because the buyers are emerging on this bad boy. And at some point, like the difference between this and Rocket Lab and some of these other companies, I'm not saying it's only a squeeze, but
it is.
They're not the most viable. If you take all the space companies, no one's going to tell you this is the most viable business in terms of what it can actually do for future revenues and justifying itself. So this is a squeeze in a way that the other ones aren't, in my opinion. So just no one ever went broke taking profit, but I mean, for the love of you know what. And I owned this thing during COVID, but during COVID you could buy anything. Well, almost. You could legitimately have bought anything during that rally, and the most memeish things were sometimes the best return, but they also were the ones you didn't want to continue to hold. You could hold the good stuff when you bought it in COVID, but you had to understand, if you were in the game like this, or the game like I was in Lemonade as well, but on the way back down, that ish gets nasty, and you got to understand that. Virgin Galactic doesn't make any money, for sure. Someone just mentioned Alibaba. We've been getting.
We got a super chat about that earlier.
I think the reason. You always get super chats on things which are looking weak, right? And there's another comment about Baba. Maybe this is a bottom at the 120. It was able to grind higher after this morning, which is now a triple bottom. I guess it's more like 124 than 120. So you got a bit of a triple bottom forming. I think that could give you a day trade breakout tomorrow. Maybe there's some kind of a catalyst that could come in. But outside of that, the problem with these guys is not the fundamental aspect of it. It's just the risk of, it's just China risk. It's just that the money has so many places to go to not worry about the politics in China and the fact that you don't have a deal. It's just too much going on here. And when there's plenty of other places in tech, and specifically, you can have 1 million data center plays. You can have 1 million AI plays out there. You don't have to worry about Alibaba. Sure, it's a great value, but maybe we have to see a correction in North American AI before Baba gets going again. Maybe that's what we're waiting for, but I'm still waiting. Maybe that 80 comes back in. Because I loved Alibaba down here. It was a heck of a lot easier to be pulling the trigger when this thing was under $100. And you were getting, like, it was at that point, you get like tremendous value. Now, like, it just broke the 200 period moving average. It's not regaining the 200. It's in the midst of losing it. That's a big difference for me. I just don't like that momentum at all. Yuck, yuck, more yuck.
I was about that compounding. I was actually asking Gemini earlier today all about that, because I was thinking to myself, like, you know, what kind of, and I was just throwing out some numbers, it didn't matter, but, you know, if you had $1 million, here I'll ask you, if you had $1 million compounded at 8% in 10 years, what do you think you have?
The doubling
Rough math,
is
compounding 8% a year for 10 years.
You double every 7, something like that. So you should go like 2.5 times, something like that.
Yeah, a little less. So 2.15. But the whole
there's a simple rule, and I forget what.
Yeah, it's a rule
like
of 7 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So
why was I so high then? Why did I say?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the whole point is that was using 8%. I think that's a pretty decent number. That's, you know, I think if you can guarantee yourself 8% a year, you know, you may take that with limited market exposure. I mean, the S&P averages between that 12 to 15% or so. Yeah, rule of 72, there it is. Yeah, so someone just had it there. That's exactly right, 2.158. So if you have $1 million today and you can hold on to that by adding absolutely nothing to that number, $1 million cash in, I mean, we can even put in the market. I mean, maybe you buy the S&P. I don't know how you get that 8%. You know, you're probably gonna have probably 40% in some sort of fixed income, and then try to roll the other 60% into the market or whatever. But, you know, again, financial advice, seek it somewhere else. But the idea here is 2.15 million there in just 10 years. You know, this show's been on since 2016 or 2017, so we're approaching
2020.
2020. We're approaching right now, you know, like you've had the market in for 7 years or so, you know, and we've had a much bigger improvement there. Let alone, I mean, we can call up the SPY over.
Well, the S&P's been way better than that.
7 years.
But I feel like this bull market's been tremendous in a way that others haven't, and we haven't had like 2020. Like we had that 2021.
Well, I mean, I think if you figure out if you smooth it out, you know, you say the last 7 years.
You know what? This is why I don't like this whole SpaceX to the S&P. Like, I don't want it to be a thing where all of these ridiculously mature IPOs that are at ridiculous valuations get thrusted into the index.
Oh, the indexes are flawed anyways.
Well, this is exacerbating the fact, unfortunately. And they're basically they're shoving it in. They're shoving it in all the passive funds and to anyone that tracks the index. They're just shoving it down your throat. And if they pull it off with not Tesla. If they pull it off with SpaceX, then there's nothing stopping it for Anthropic and then OpenAI and whomever it might be down the line, because this is unprecedented what we're seeing. Almost $2 trillion valuation. What? Like there used to be $2
trillion. Oh, it's gonna be way more than that. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about the issue. I'm not talking about where it opens up. And this is the other problem, because what it's going to do is it's going to force passive funds to be buying it in the first, not buying the issue price. But if it does open at $3 trillion, they got to be buying that for the 60 to 90 days. That's insane that you're going to have funds doing that, all because you're changing the rules so people can get out. But this is something that is brand new, and they're basically shoving it down your throats. And it's just to keep it aware of it. It's not whatever. It doesn't matter for trading because it's not going to affect us. We're going to buy the open price, and we're going to hope that it goes up and maybe it halts and all that kind of fun stuff. It doesn't really affect the day trader.
The market will be. I've already talked about this, man. I think the market pulls back into SpaceX, and after SpaceX, it's going to take some air out of this market. And you know, if you want to plan accordingly, you guys could do that. But right now, we'll fire off the hot dog cannons, and hopefully you're enjoying you know, a nice little day off if you are today outside. Maybe you're relaxing on the patio or something like that, and you're like, damn, That was Robinhood, and there it goes, man. That's $1. Now we're even into more than that as Robinhood takes down to $90.20. We did take an out there, and we're gonna try to figure out where to go from here now on this name, and it is Robinhood, and it is starting to right now come back in. We got to switch our stops. That's what I was trying to do right here into $90.50. So we may go a little bit. Let's go 61s. Now we only have 10% left, so that's going to be the stop is now in. So we will just try to hold out, hopefully, for a lower bid here on this, and you know, we'll take it for what it's worth. And it just goes to show you, like, you know, you got to be sometimes on, you know, different names at different times, because like right there, Robinhood, I'm not even really sure what the reaction of this is, because I know you're on IBIT, and I was thinking, like, if Robinhood was coming down, maybe it has something to do, and I know it's, you know, it's moving, but not moving that much, so I'll take advantage of that Robinhood play and see what's going on with that one as it makes new lows here during the afternoon, new lows for Robinhood, the only trade I have on right here. And earlier on this morning, the number one trade for me today, which has really set me up here today, is this one, and that was Palantir. And there was like the big one right off the open, and I was sort of mentioning that, yeah, we did have a decent size position on there for this name, so really happy with what we were able to do there with Palantir, and got stopped out right there. Then right before we left you at 11 o'clock, we did have this trade on, and it wasn't the greatest. Shorted there at VWAP, and then shorted, I think it must have been the 200 period there. Once that broke at the time, we punched out, so a little bit of a hit there on Palantir. I'd say we gave back about 10% or so of what we made, maybe a little bit less on that short, and we haven't done anything since. Palantir rips it up, but we did a video on the scanners and was like, hey, you know, how are we finding some of these plays? Well, written down right here today, Pineapple Pizza. What's up to Sebastian? All right, so I just wanted to show you right here, today's number one trade idea for me was Palantir long at 157. I just showed that to you. We went long at 157 right here on Pal. That's 157. Long Palantir 157, our best out 162. So that was really set me up sort of for success at the beginning. And, you know, there's our IBIT. It's been really bad since then. IBIT short in that area. We weren't even able to start that trade at 41.25. Intel, I don't think it got going, and then Space. We tried the $7 range. We said 650 to 7 on Virgin Galactic. It would be interesting to see exactly what that low is. This is the only trade that will have a negative mark on it today. We said 650, so it does get into 630 there. Here's me trying it at 7 off the halt. Pressure was a little bit too much, so it busted pipes, and we got out right there. And now you can see Space, Virgin Galactic, trying to hold VWAP basically again at 750, but that would have been a good call, but I didn't have the ability to hold it, and didn't want to anyways. So there it is. Like when it moons to 9 and just comes crashing back in, including a halt, very risky to take that. So we have a quick little stop there and get stopped out on Space. So yeah, not too bad. And then we took a little bit of AMD early as well. We went short right into there. Good thing, this is why you get out, man. We'll still, can you believe, like, we went short on 506 on AMD, and we lived to say another day on that one, and we actually get up on it. So there's the move down into the 25 period. There's the bust through higher. Do not hold, you know, or else, you know, you suffer from that. And that was it, man. Palantir, Robinhood, AMD, and Space. So 4 names today, and it's a good one. And we hit a big trade here early. So everything else is sort of just trying to cap it off. And I think we did pretty good here, getting ready for only a half hour left. Keep your information in the chat. Let us know so we can keep looking up there. People still want AMC and everything. So
I mean, obviously, AMC, this is the one day you're going to be talking about it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I suppose it's been making a good run. It is what it is. It's not, this hasn't been all bad. If you zoom, there we go. If I zoom in, the $1 to almost $2, it's been rallying again. This is the biggest outsized day for it, and it's doing 100 million shares in volume. So congratulations if AMC's been your bag. So far, like I've traded 6 stocks today. The only bad one was actually right price, wrong timing on SoFi. It ended up going, although this looks like something happened at 11 o'clock. Well, it could just be technical, but I was in that first VWAP break, and it's the only red stock today was SoFi, and it was close to the same thing on Friday at that same area where it basically held between 770 and 18 and then couldn't get too much further than 18 and a half. You kind of had the same thing going on with SoFi, but if you peel back the tape a little bit, I like this on SoFi. you're finally back above the 50-period moving average. Like, there is your break of the 50-period. And had it not been for Palantir, I probably would have, I also still own a lot of SoFi. I never really got out of, I never, on the way upside, I never got out more than a third, right? So the stock went from like $7 to 31, and I held the bulk of it anyways. But much like Palantir, this is on the verge of a breakout from a trend on the highs. If you go all the way back to that double top in November, draw a trend line, it's actually breaking this if it takes the 20 level. And we've seen what Palantir has been able to do on this trend break. Remember last week, we're like, okay, here's your trend break, the first stop, the 200-period moving average. Well, that's where we got to in 2 days. 2 days, you're already at the 200-period moving average, and you're holding on PLTR. So big fan there of Palantir. I expect, finding resistance at the 200-period moving average, well, sometimes it's support, and support turns into resistance. But as long as it holds on to call it Friday's close, I think it's bullish to make that next level up. It's been so, that channel has lasted, it started in November of last year. To break this channel now with all the support at 130, I don't think it's over just because it has one small up day. There's plenty of room for this to go. Plenty.
Yeah, Palantir is still a big part of the portfolio. That's one of the reasons why last year when we did this stock competition, we were up 167% or something, and it was most of it due to Palantir, of course, and sometimes you need those kind of trades. Here's Google. So this is looking like a short to me. However, I'm not taking a short, not with 30 minutes left. We saw that dramatic move at the end of the day on Friday on some imbalances as we get heading into those imbalances, and that move started right here. We were underneath VWAP. It's too bad I wasn't here on Friday. Look how good this looks on VWAP. Oh my God. But there it goes into, I'm sure Neil or Joe may have had some of this somewhere. But there's the move down on Google. It started right now at 330. So, what makes Friday is not today. We had rebalancing. So I don't expect any kind of move like that. But now the difference with this is, you're nowhere near VWAP. You're actually much above it. And that's where the trade was right down here on VWAP I'm the most simplest trader here by far, I feel like, anyways. Just playing off support and resistance and trying to keep it as simple as possible. And right now, playing momentum, I would actually look for a long breakout on Google now because we've really supported this 50-period moving average. I think we've supported down here VWAP and the 200. So it looks like it does want to break through here, Google. And actually really surprised that on a day where you're up 0.7, Google can't get out of its own way. The other name was Amazon that we were looking at and kind of surprised. And it was down 3+% when we started the show or so. We battled back a little bit here, but I think Amazon with that Anthropic, and we know that they have a piece of that. I'm just surprised that it was down today, especially on that news that Anthropic is indeed coming with an IPO. It looks like OpenAI will be the third this year to come through as far as those big multi-trillion-dollar names coming to market. All three of those names will come with trillion-dollar valuations.
Advantage for Anthropic.
So get ready for that one. Here's Oracle. You want to talk about advantage to something, advantage to Oracle longs, man. This name was $120 or $130 right there at its lows. Wow. Talk about adding some value into people's portfolios. Oracle, again, another solid name. We saw the breakout with Cisco, took out some crazy highs as well. We'll see if Oracle can get back up there. I recently sold, not recently, but I sold right here on this. I don't know how we got that. We got 317 or something like that on that kind of a move, and it fell all the way back in. I did not rebuy anything of Oracle, so I'm actually not in the name other than indexing, and I guess now it is just straight love for ORCL as, yeah, and then these names are gonna come to market. And the best part about it is all these deals that they have now with OpenAI, Anthropic, and all these deals that they have to build out these data centers and whatnot, now they can use your money to do that because people will be investing in OpenAI and they'll probably be raising capital for various ways through public markets. So now Oracle can be like, haha, we're gonna get paid at some point. And there's closing our trade right there. So we will go slappa for Robinhood. Good one there. Only trade this afternoon. We took about $1, and then about 70 cents on, 30% of it, most of it out here. And we actually did really good this time. Waited, for the 200 period, got a lot out right there. So that was about 50 cents or more. And then we dripped down and we were able to take advantage of that. So that's Robinhood. And then you mentioned SoFi. This is all that, people on the weekend were talking to me about it, and because I've been pretty vocal about this. And I did buy some 18s and we did buy some 16s. So we're going to hope that SoFi can get back up to the upside. And we did buy some here as well. I thought we bought some at 22, so into this area. So yeah, not great dip buys there for SoFi. We might just be in the money now or flat-ish on all these buys. So we obviously we started it a lot lower, but we did not get anything out near the top on SoFi. So far so good there.
I wanted to quickly address this
good.
because Yost was asking. I know we've talked about what happened on Friday, but you're asking, can we talk about the end of day trading balancing using NVIDIA as an example? How would you have traded it? So here's NVIDIA. I'm trying to 39 million maybe. It was over. It doesn't like it was a ridiculous number. It was over 30 million. Intel was also maybe 25 million to sell. That number comes out abruptly at 350. That's maybe a 1 minute chart will be a little bit better because the 3 minute chart's not going to show you. Okay, thank goodness. I thought maybe if I switched the timing this late in the day, it was going to crash on me. And so if you see this candle at 350, that's the algos getting in. Unless you have a program that's going to digitally read the imbalances and then try to snag that, by the time you're even reacting to the surprise that NVIDIA is down that much, it had already moved down like $4 or $5. Maybe you code something that's good enough to catch it and maybe you get the last dollar of that spike. The way that I like to play it is oftentimes in these names, the actual print itself is not going to be the best, is to look for the 355 flip. Now, there were 3 stocks significantly, and that gave you, I was in and out flat on the flip because it held but didn't go at 355. It turns out Intel was the best one. Like you're either trying to capture somewhere reasonable on the break where you're not chasing it too far. In this case, NVIDIA was extreme, and then you're holding it for the print or close enough to 55 or to 58. Those are a couple of ways to play it. The one that ended up being the better flip was Intel. Like Intel did give you a good bounce at 55 and ended up coming in higher. But that was a similar thing. Like the algos have chewed up a lot of the, hey, we'll just punch in when you see that gigantic imbalance. Like your best chance for those ones is to maybe get something that isn't NVIDIA or Intel. Like when randomly, you might get some random less covered company which has an imbalance and then you have a chance to be able to get in early on. But those big bad boys, you will have to suffer through chasing. Like with those, you had to be, if you were willing to punch in and capture 1/4 of the move, that was your best bet at 350. You had no chance to be able to get the full thing. Let's go to Adara.
Fortunately, I have some more here out of the Middle East. Now, we know earlier today we had a drop in oil and a pop in the market after President Trump indicated in a Truth Social post that he had spoken to Hezbollah and to Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel and that both parties had agreed not to attack one another. Well, now we're hearing comments from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel about that talk. And he's saying, quote, I spoke with Trump this evening and told him that if Hezbollah does not cease its attacks on our cities and civilians, Israel will strike terrorist targets in Beirut. So basically, Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump more or less saying the same thing, but Netanyahu's framing of it certainly a little bit more implying that this conflict could continue. Furthermore, same reporter that reported these statements from Netanyahu reporting that Netanyahu also said, quote, the IDF will continue operating in southern Lebanon as planned. So sounds like Netanyahu and the IDF are going to continue striking here in Beirut. We'll have to see if we get a response here from President Trump or from Iran after these comments. Back to you.
Thank you very much there.
I'm unable to open up the numbers, but we had on the Toronto imbalances, there was a huge one, and someone made $230,000 on the Toronto imbalances. And then we saw the numbers, and I know Neil just mentioned.
Oh, it's not working.
No, I know, that's what I was saying.
Oh.
So unfortunately, it's not loading right now. Maybe they're loading some data, but I showed it earlier this morning. Someone made 230 grand on those imbalances, so that's like making about $200,000 in probably 5 minutes. So that's the opportunity that's for you here at Real Trading, and then also. Multiple traders made $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, and I know Neil just mentioned he was in and out for flat, but some traders there, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. That's like yearly totals of trading. So congratulations for those that have been able to make that on there. You're making a year's worth in 1 minute. So good job there.
Sometimes, and this sounds crazy, but sometimes less.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
like, you'd be surprised.
I mean, I'm just throwing out a number, but yeah, I was saying maybe 5 seconds, right? And we're going to hope to do something like that with, I I've already done that. I did that with bullish. You know,
Cerebras took probably 5 seconds.
yeah, if I was here for that, oh boy.
5 seconds and it halted up.
I'm going to get my revenge on SpaceX.
I'm calling SpaceX. I don't think SpaceX halts up like Cerebras did. I think it'll be more liquid. There's like this happy space that you want the IPOs to be in, where big enough, yes, but illiquid enough.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too crazy.
Yeah, I don't want there to be too much liquidity because then you don't get the 10%, maybe you don't get that instant 10% in the money kind of deal. So you want that happy medium. Yep. That's why I might be more excited for Anthropic than SpaceX for that reason, but whatever. Ultimately, they are what they are, and someone's saying it's a revenge trade. It's not, because
no, I said revenge trade.
But it's not really. It's not like a revenge trade. A revenge trade is where you try to make back like lost money doing something irrational. This is just a case of just doing the thing that you always do, and it is what it is.
I just know it works so well on Cerebras. That's why I was saying that.
Yeah, it was a matter of, to me, the only mistake was capturing the problem. Your only issue was like how much of it did you capture, because that 5 seconds, that's the highest price you got. So it was a question of how much you took out in the first 5 seconds. How much you made came down to how much did you get out in the first 5 seconds.
Or the halt when it opened at 370.
Or thank goodness I still took some out on the halt, because it was 350 to like 385. That's like $35. And then when it reopened, it was 370. Those were your chances to get the ball. If you didn't, boom.
Yeah, then it crashed. And that could be a SpaceX situation too, or SpaceX.
Slippage was not cool.
Yeah, and you could get a lot of that because it's going to come out where most of this is 85% held by Elon, and then what percent is held by these underwriters and so on and so forth. There's a very, very small percentage of that float that's coming to market, so we got to be very, very careful with what happens with SpaceX. But there it is, man. Oh, someone on one of your friends there, MF Danger, says 2,400 shares before IPO. So. Okay, yeah. I mean, the split. I think it did go. It went down to 195.
5 to 1
share.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So we'll see. I'm sure they're going to roadshow. It'll probably come at 300, and then I think it'll probably open at 3x, whatever the price is. So, all right. Thank you so much for that one. JOBs are in there as well, but
Jordanian dinars.
Yes,
I believe.
Good.
Well, I looked it up last time.
Good. Thank you so much for the Jordanian dinars. We really appreciate that. I hope everybody in Jordan is doing well. You had a good guy named after you, Michael Jordan, of course, not from Jordan. Hopefully we can put up.
He didn't drop on like 47 shots when he was in the conference semis. No, when they were knocking him on his butt, like the Pistons are beating him up. He wasn't sitting there falling down in every shot.
He was actually having cigars and rum and whiskey before the game and after the game,
and going out to the casino,
and golfing, and all of that. So. That's where, just imagine that he actually took care of his body in the same way as the guys do now. I mean, obviously Jordan's a crazy athlete.
He
can do whatever the hell he wants. But
for all this stuff about Michael Jordan, Kobe was the guy that was
more disciplined,
and all that kind of.
But he was only more disciplined because of Jordan. Everyone could see, modeled their games obviously after him, and you could see there what happened.
Kobe,
the rest is history there with all these players.
If Shaq had what?
Here goes Jay-Z. Right here, an old rapper. There, yeah, I don't know. Just it hasn't opened basically ever since we started talking about it. I mean, it opens and closes. Whether or not you're able to make some kind of money on this, I just want to take it to everyone's attention because it's another halter that has now opened back up and halted again. So yeah, it looks like we had a couple minutes here where it was okay from about 215 to 220, and then there's another one from 240 up to 280. So this one now halting and tapping. Just halted at 38, so we're going to be open soon. And it looks like it might be over all the halting, to be honest with you. Not that I'm saying it's over, but the halt price may open up at the same price it closed at. So that's kind of cool. Like it closed at 277, and right now the theoretical auction price, which is what I'm keep on pointing out to you here, our software does give us the data that comes from the market, and right now it's showing $2.77. So with a matter of a couple seconds maybe until open, it's 38. So right now it's 43, so we're gonna open up in 45 seconds. That's going to create some actionable trading for sure with Jay-Z, and we'll see where that winds up opening up right now. Spurs are favorites against the Knicks.
I'm gonna be cheering for the Knicks.
Yeah, I like the Eastern Conference. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Eastern Conference, but there's something about that team and the way they played this year that I'm a fan.
Yeah, they're not going to have an answer for Wemby, but
No, but nobody has an answer for Wemby. It's
exactly.
You know, the Spurs, the way the Spurs played, I don't rationally think that the Knicks are going to win, but I'm going to be cheering for the Knicks. That's for sure. Let's go over to Adara. Tesla's bleeding, by the way.
Bit of a bounce here off the lows for CME. That is CME Group seeing some reports here that they have started 24/7 cryptocurrency futures and options trading. So as you can see, a little bit of a bounce here for CME Group off the lows on that news that they are starting 24/7 crypto futures and options trading. Back to you.
He's going to be
Just hope this guy stays healthy.
generational player. Wemby.
Just stay healthy, man.
Okay, so here we go again. You know, that was a good out, right? So we'll just be like, shout out to Brendo. He'll be back later this week. So there it goes, man, on longest vacation of all time. 91.40. Hope you're having a good time there, Brendo. All the way back in to 91 and then down into $90.40. He's actually doing some work as well. So there it is. Nice move back in. And there's our out. So out there, out there, out there. And now it climbs back upside with now only 15 seconds, 5 minutes to go. That was because Jay-Z just opened up. Let me see what this is doing now. Okay, so there you go. So I was saying that we might have seen the end of the halts.
But even if it halts again, it won't open.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the volume, it's going to halt again because, you know, if we lose that right there, if you lose that 70, which someone just smacked it for 20,000 shares, you know, probably goes to the downside. But there's so many hidden orders here. Like, look what's on the level 1 and level 2. It's like 100 shares. Each one of these represents 100 shares. But yet it's doing thousands and thousands of shares here on the level 2, on the sort of time and sales, right? So very misleading, a lot of dark pools here. But there we go. Like, that was kind of an easier one to say, hey, maybe we open up and we don't go crazy halting because the price was pretty close to where, you know, it last halted at. Okay, I just want to check out Google because I said that if there was a little bit more time, maybe we would break longer. But you see what the market did? Downside right there, and there's that short again, rate coming into play again. You could have used that top wick there as you're out and even just tried to push it through this 50-period moving average all the way down there into the downside. So join us tomorrow morning when I'll be trading much more actively and some levels like that, hopefully coming through tomorrow.
Patrick, shout out to the Canadian super chat there, $17. Qs, call options all day, made 800% in 5 minutes, and you still have no idea what happened, but you'll take the win.
What do you mean made 800% in 5 minutes?
What kind of...
On what? What did you do? Oh, daily options? Is that what it was? Did it say dailies? It has to be dailies?
It's got to be.
Okay, well, congratulations. I mean, if you think the market was going down there, that's calls on you. That was a good one.
I mean, if you just, like, at the open, the market was...
$8,000?
We were tanking into the open. Like, you remember the context of what was happening. Remember in the morning, we had USO going, like, crazy into the open, so, like, volatility was going up, and effectively, like, the Qs were right into Friday's lows, and then at 9:30, ramp job, and then it did, like, a double barrel bottom here on the Qs. And I don't know how long you held or how quickly you were able to, but when volatility spikes up, that's your chance if you get the reversion you want. 3 minutes until we get the imbalances. HPE is a early look 1.8 million. We know they're going to be in play. RIG, it's always there. Redwire, 1.1 million to the sell side, actually. Nokia is a sell as well, 900,000. These are all pretty insignificant relative to Friday. Uber, 700,000. QSR, 700,000. They're both sells. I'm just going to have up like the biggest ones on Friday, just for lack of a better place to look, on the NASDAQ were NVIDIA and Intel specifically. So those are the two. Just on the chance of something residual happening in either direction, I want to have those two up. They flash so quickly. Like we said, you need to have some kind of an algo to be able to catch it. Tighten up the stop on the last vibe. It just bounced off VWAP again, but same thing as before. And good thing we got out of that Virgin Galactic, because space has actually continued. Whoops, I just actually typed space instead of SPCE. It's continuing to hold VWAP. So it was one trade into the volume weighted average price. It gave you like 25, 30 pennies, and now going back higher. So this is going to close on strength for Virgin Galactic. Outside of that halt at the open to the downside, and I guess it reopened and made fresh lows, but since that, most of the day has been grinding higher on low volume for Virgin Galactic. Still believe that this name is more susceptible than the other space names to falling off a real cliff. Like, if you said which one has a chance of pulling back 70 to 80%, I mean, Virgin Galactic's up 3x from the lows and doesn't have a viable business. So it's kind of low-hanging fruit to hate on them. But hey, momentum's momentum. Good for them.
Is it today's June 1st? Here it is.
Tis.
So, yeah, it is for sure. Shout out to Adara, TTV Research. Go find it right now. TTV Research. This is Miss Adara's handle, so we want to say shout out to her for that one. So this is what's happening, man. Credo, we got a lot of CRDOs in the chat today. That's coming post-market, as well as we had some HPEs. We can have a quick little look, obviously, at all of those stocks as well, as those are getting pumped through, and we'll have to watch to see what exactly is going to be happening there tonight. Dollar General tomorrow. You know, again, some good names coming through. We'll see how good they are and how they perform into tomorrow. I'm very excited for a position that I have, of course, with Palo Alto. We also have CrowdStrike. It's going to be a big moment for all of them. Ulta Beauty's been getting hit. We do have some problems in the retail side of things. We showed you, like Walmart at 114, man. I mean, Walmart was also at 135 not too long ago. So, you know, that's definitely some value there. And you're never going to sell the tops or buy the bottoms, but maybe something there. We'll watch to see what happens to Ulta Beauty. There's CrowdStrike. There's another retail name, Macy's. So a lot of retail this week. Okay, there's one that we should all, by the way, love shopping at Five Below. My daughter loves going there whenever we're in the States as well, all my kids. So C3AI, nobody knows what they're doing. There's ChargePoint, CrowdStrike, good days ahead for us this week. DocuSign as well. Rubrik, okay, that could be another. We've seen what Snowflake has done. We've seen some big moves there. I don't know if that's Planet. That's not Planet Fitness, is it? But there's Planet, whatever that is. There's Lululemon, and we've already seen there's OVO is reporting as well, apparently. But okay, there's Lululemon coming on Thursday night, so watch out for that one as they go through some management shakeups. I think that's going to be a rinse job there on Lululemon. I think they're going to throw it in, and then you buy it after that quarter. There's NVIDIA. There's the sell. We talked about like not trying to mess around too much with any of these plays. Apple, a little bit of a sell side as well there. So Daryl will be posting those up in just a couple of seconds, I'm sure, what the net effect is on the market. Other than that, yeah, pretty, okay, there's Uber caught a sell, darn it. We wish we caught that a bid. But this just goes to show you, we got that question about what imbalances can do, and yeah, all of a sudden, they can send your position from a winning one into a losing one, especially when the market has nearly a $2 billion sell candle on it right there with the NASDAQ, $1 billion.
And the Mag 7.
And the Dow, the Mag 7, holding most of that, and of course, NVIDIA, Apple's all right here. So, yeah, thanks to Financial Juice for those numbers as they come pretty quick.
Nowhere near as big as it was on Friday.
No.
In context, remember, NVIDIA was 10 times the size on Friday. So this 3 is kind of a nothing. It's not nothing, but it is effectively relatively a nothing burger. Nokia's there for it was 1.7. You just live saw it pare down to 1.1 and barely even moving. HPE, of course, look at this pullback. It was program buying all afternoon. And remember, it had an early look buy imbalance. See how the early look was 1.8 million, and it didn't come out as 1.8 million. It came out as 1 million, which was half the size. And so even though it's a buy imbalance, it rallied with that early look, and look at the rug. If that 1.8 came out at 3, probably goes higher. That's why when you get the early look, use it to your advantage. You buy that top. When it comes out small, you're going to get yourself in trouble because it's public too. Just anyone could see it was 1.8 million buy. The second it came out half that, boom, the sellers just jumped in. And if you're holding that position because of the imbalance, you've got to have a trailing stop. Cheese in a chair. Yes. All right, I'm assuming this is our cheese dispenser business. JP Morgan got nothing on SoftBank. Is this price action all due to its ARM holdings, or is there something else to explain the crazy upside? Yeah, but SoftBank's not all ARM, man. They've been making heavy bets in the AI space. So let's be realistic. But ARM, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt if you own ARM. Which, by the way, I don't think we even mentioned this once in the afternoon, did we? And it's up 16% today. You know it's a good market when a stock up 16% doesn't get a lot of chatter with it. This has also been completely insane for ARM. But remember, complete reset, not reset of value on this business. They're going into making chips. It's a whole new window for them, and they've even said themselves, this is 3 to 5x on their revenues over the next couple of years. So this is the big great reset, and it was great from the IPO. It was a great consolidation break, but did I think it would have touched 420 this quickly? Nope. But you know what? That's good. You own good companies, and every now this kind of crap's going to happen to you. That's just how it works. Did I think Intel was going to go to 125 or whatever the heck it was at last week? Didn't think that either. But they end up working out. So congrats if you own ARM. SoftBank's they're not hating, although they did sell some pretty good companies. I mean, they sold a boatload of NVIDIA.
Yeah. Did you look at SFTBY?
I didn't pull them out. The question was about ARM, so I just pulled up ARM.
Yeah, your SoftBank is absolutely rocking there. I mean, the only thing that they sort of missed on, this is going to be some sort of a split there. They missed on Marvell. They wanted to get that name in around that $100 mark. They actually made it public that they were looking at it then. Now Marvell's 220. We didn't miss on Marvell, but Marvell pulling back just a little bit here into the close. So what's up? What's up to No Respect, man? You guys have been great. Thank you so much for all the love there in the chat. This dude made $100,000 apparently last year trading. So it's, more than I. So good job on that one there for you. So that's a nice little number there. Put that in your pocket. And you mentioned there was a chip name. So great job on that. So, thanks for taking the risk with us and watching and learning. And hopefully you can put that 100 to work. And as I just said there, if you just keep it in the market, maybe get a little return on that as well. And you don't have to stress out too much, but that's a good little level there for you. $100,000. So good name, good move. All right, Marvell, is going to go out. I don't know what the record close is for this name, but it looks like it'll be right here today. It looks like we did close this day at 215 back in. So I got out some right here, right now, at those prices last week on earnings, and now it's right back up to that level. So you can't keep the stock down for long. On earnings, it does make a move into 190, as I said before. Like, tough look there for Marvell, but all the way back up. It didn't take very long for that happening. Robinhood has fallen down on these imbalances a little bit there, but some good outs. We're still not underneath where we got into. Hewlett-Packard, we're looking at 12 cents here on earnings. We'll see if they can come up with a decent number. And we got that super chat earlier, and all I can do is reference what I did. I had a name like this. We just showed you Marvell, ARM, Intel, AMD, all names that went parabolic, and I got out at 20% of all of those names last week. So yeah, I'm part of the hype train as well, and I'm just trying to get out a little bit here as we go. So just to let you guys know, those are my thoughts on what to do ahead of earnings, especially when you get a stock going parabolic. But again, Dell was up 32% on their report, so if you sold anything the day before, you might have had a little bit of FOMO on that as well, but similar like move. We'll see if HPE, again, can get involved similarly the way Dell had over the last little while. So congratulations, anybody that's held HPE or Dell up to this point. So it's been a good run for those names.
Needless to say.
That's for sure.
100%, and it's like the rising tide's even dragging things like SMCI back upside. So that's the good thing, and a strong market is you'll get like rotation into some better names. And there's a lot of people talking about Meta right now. I'm thinking that, like, the reality is for Meta at this particular point, they want those actually bringing in the big revenues from AI, and that's the thing. Like hopefully this cloud potential venture, because Zuckerberg did mention the possibility of getting into cloud, and I think that could be good for them. But the more prescient thing is that they're not in it now, and that really just gives their competition a better place, or at least the market seems a better place to put that money. I also saw someone say Cerebras, they're taking a swing. Is that back down to the IPO issue? 185, it was the IPO issue price for CBRS.
It was close. It was 220 today?
Yeah, I remember saying to myself, when it gets down to 185, that day I will look for, that's the next day I will probably trade it. Will be to look for like somewhere in the buy zone. So this could break 200 tomorrow. It's down 10% today. You get another 10% down, and you're getting into the issue price. The only reason I say that is oftentimes you will have the underwriters defend that price, meaning they'll flat out sit there on the bid because they don't want it to go negative before the lock. It's kind of a bad look for it to go negative before the lockup, although it happens all the time. But it's still something that, tip working now. That's still something that sometimes you'll see defense. If I see like an obvious like support level or program buyer like 190 in front of 185, like to me that's a nice day trade.
All right, so it's working. So let's go find out who made all the money at Real Trading. Neil and I sitting here on a prop floor, and we talk about all the time, up your share size if you can, if you've got a strategy. Someone did that on Friday. So a shout out, man. You got something on you there. That's 230,000. These are US dollars made in the Canadian market on a big imbalance at the end of the day. So shout out to those guys trading that. He, she, or they, good trade. Amex, 72,000, NASDAQ, New York. So these are all three markets, 55. And you know, there was days last week, I remember showing this to you, and it was like 7,000, 5,000, 8,000. And I was like, you know, this is the ebbs and flows of the market, right? This trader, I have no idea how much they'll make or lose today or what they'll make tomorrow. I don't know. These are just what people made and what traders made on rebalances there on. And I've, you know, my biggest days have been on rebalances. As well as IPO days. So, you know, we'll have to wait to see if SpaceX can do that, but big time imbalances for some of these traders, man. They got horse sense on those. They made some great calls. Canada again, Canada again, Canada. You know, most of these names were all Canadian. Anybody on this list pretty much traded Canada. You get one there, 47,000 on Amex in New York, and then 71,000. Everybody else had a piece of that pie in the closing prints there for the TSX. So congratulations to everybody that was able to make a lot of money there. There's a lot of money to go around, especially on those imbalances. And there you go, right? So just to show you, you know, 90% plus money made on special events. So, and that's another one. Of course, IPOs and closing trades or halts opening up, you know, like if you catch a halt, and right here, I mean, now this is...
That's not, maybe not the best example.
This is a bad example, but like, you know, if you're long here at 292, it opens at 320, you know, then, yeah, if you have 5,000 shares, I mean, that could be...
There was a couple from last week that were good examples of that.
Yes.
That Jay-Z stock, it's like, it kind of defeats the purpose of the halt rule when you have a stock like this. It's kind of silly, realistically, that's what happens. But remember, HPE still up to almost 10%, and they are reporting after the bell. We've got the closing bell in just 10 seconds for the first time this month. I want to shout out to Beta Pros. You see right there. You can scan that QR code. And 3, 2, and 1. Ring it. Great day for the market, man. I mean, every up day is good.
Yeah.
Every up day is good, but the way things started out makes it better. Like not all up days are created equal. We had USO through the roof this morning and the market tanking. So closing close to the highs, I think it just plays a little bit better. But a good start, definitely a good start to the month. Well, a good start to the week, good start to the month as well. HPE earnings after the bell, but we'll see. Like the biggest earnings have come and gone. Someone's on the bid, big. Who does that before earnings? Yeah, have fun with that. Oh, that's New York. Well,
so
that's
they can't trade.
Yeah, that's residual buy.
Yeah,
it's already popping.
They won't be there. So this Jay-Z cannot halt anymore. So we'll see what winds up happening. It goes all the way to 334, and now falling back in just a little bit. But there it is. This will not halt in the after hours. So get ready to rock and roll here. If you are long Jay-Z, I think it's a good opportunity here, and we'll just see where it opens tomorrow. You know, you can always put your stop in and around $3 and see what winds up happening. But a good day overall. I want to thank everybody. Thank Joe and Sharif for the big midday show. That's for sure. Adara, always there with the news. I want to thank her for always providing all that. And TTV Research, what a great website as well to go check out there on Twitter. Andre, Ramin, everybody, Fabian for running around here and doing everything with the audio, trying to get that all fixed up as well for us. I think we had Andre, Fabian, Ramin. I think we covered everybody there. And so, yeah, good one there. We'll see you. I have a game tonight. You're probably...
Well, we have a game tonight, too.
Okay, good, yeah. 8 to 10 for us. You're probably a little earlier. I know that's nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got to rush to get...
We were 6 to 8, yeah, when we were...
yeah, we're 6:15.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect time.
So, all right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Good luck to HPE Longs, and we'll see you tomorrow on another update on the market.
Already up.